don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel. Rise on the horizon. Sky is blue, no denying. News with Skyjack Morgan. Bright and early new dawn. Every headline.
Good morning.
Gives your morning some glory.
Sorry about the delay.
Stay in tune as the day greets new bloom.
There was
Good
a
morning,
problem over on Facebook.
with Skyjack Morgan. Start your day just fine. Information for you, darling. Hot coffee in your cup.
It's the news to fill you right up.
Trends and weather on the go. Morning show you need to know. Good morning headlines with Skyjack Morgan. Start your day just fine. Information for you, darling. Hot coffee in your cup. News to fill you right up. Trends and weather on the go. Morning show you need to know. Join us on this daily ride. With your
Keep moaning side by side.
Players feel the vibe. Sky will keep you well supplied.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Member Senator Mike Lee has suggested
Good morning, headlines. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah, this is the vibe today. Use the old track, you know. Oh, yeah. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. I'm so glad that you're alive today. I'm happy that you're here. Welcome to the rebellion. Welcome to the resistance. It's the, we're building identity-based resistance right here on YouTube, trying to build a community of people. If you haven't already joined the Sky City Rebels, please do. We do special streams every day. We do guitar recital every month. We do all sorts of cool stuff. It's pretty rad. Hey, it's Bubba. That's me. Twisted Hippie knows what the deal is. You sound like a rapper. Well, you know, I have been known to rap from time to time. I mean, I grew up in the culture, you know. What are you going to do? Thank you so much. On the ones and twos. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Anarchy massive. Anarchist massive. Yeah, I like it. Rewind. That's the kind of rap I got into when I was in Europe. I lived in Germany. I was really into the drum and bass scene, two-step and raga, dancehall collective. Listen, how you guys doing? It's a beautiful day. Yes, MC Sky. That's the rap. That's the vibe. That's the vibe today. You know, the vibe today is that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, Tulsi Gabbard, they're giving testimony today. I think they're live right now. And Pam Bondi from Bondi Beach, famous from Bondi Beach fame, she's going to go and testify behind closed doors because she's a coward and they're cowards. And they're going to ask her about the Epstein files, which I think is great. I think we shouldn't stop talking about the Epstein files. I have been remiss. I haven't talked about it enough that our president's a child rapist. I mean, the only people talking about it now is Iran. Iran's the only one on their Twitter feed talking about how our president is a pedo, and it gets a little rough out there. You know, we need to be doing it at all. How do we defeat capitalism? Good question. I think that we need to exist outside of it. We need to exist. We can interact with it, but try to back away from it as much as possible. Try to build a shadow organization and create mutual aid so that when capitalism always fails, when it falters and we have another Great Depression, we're already prepared with mutual aid networks and helping our neighbors and stuff like that. That's what I think. We need to build community so that we build resilience. Hey, how do we defeat capitalism? Great. The way to defeat capitalism is to try to mitigate its negative effects on you. I know, tedious. It's tedious trying to get to know your neighbors and stuff. But, it's a thing. It works. It's pretty rad. To defeat capitalism, move to a socialist country, LOL, yet they don't leave. I wonder why. What socialist country? This is a socialist country, dummy. This country, everything that you like about this country, everything that you think is good about this country is socialism. You're welcome. Listen, this country is not purely capitalist. In fact, this country is more and more resembling a mercantilist economy where there's a zero-sum game and the world is made of losers and winners. And if you collect the most natural resources and conquer the most countries, that you're a winner and everyone else is a loser. So, yeah, I mean, mercantilism kind of fell out of fashion when capitalism really came to the fore. But capitalism has existed far before Adam Smith, The history of capitalism is kind of interesting, but we don't have time to get into it. This is a news reaction show. You just stumbled into the #1 news reaction show on YouTube, but thanks. There's no such thing as a socialist country. Is it socialist or capitalist? You're proving the point. Yeah, I'm proving the point. Yeah, the only way to defeat capitalism is to mitigate the absolutely inevitable repercussions of the profit motive and greed. Basically, you need to protect yourself from the greedy. It's really difficult when you have certain people amassing $850 billion. We're about to have our first trillionaire, and the government is facilitating the theft of your money that they, for some reason, have decided. We all had to decide, I guess. I mean, at some point, we're all a little complicit in this, right? But, we just allow these billionaires to steal our money. I mean, all of it's our money. We print it. We work for it. Somebody else takes it. It's a messed up system. It doesn't work. People are starving. And show me one capitalist country that works. Show me one capitalist country that's successful. Just one. I don't know one single name one single socialist country that has starved people outside of its country. Name one socialist country that dropped an atomic weapon. Please name one socialist country that dropped an atomic weapon. Name one capitalist country that has succeeded. I don't know. America has succeeded. We have more people in prison than any other country in the world, and you think America is a success story? America's a success story, home of all the billionaires, 900 billionaires that are completely high on the hog, trading working class children on Epstein Island. You think that's a success story? Where there's a billionaire class of lazy people that contribute nothing, that buy and sell the children of the working class? That's your success story? All right, if that's what you think success is, yeah, that's success. How about this? This is success. America, the feds now want to make it illegal to even possess an anarchist zine. If you have a magazine now, this is in 2025, they want to make it illegal. This person has just got sentenced to 20 years not because he published, not because he was disseminating, but because he had anarchist literature. Yeah. There you go. That's a success story, huh? Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and they're building a ballroom for the rich, and that is a success story. You think that America, name me one capitalist country that has been successful. Ooh, hey, Speaker Sargon of Akkad. Let's see what he's got to say this morning. Name one socialist country that would have ever conceived of the idea, me paying $5 to a communist. I know. I mean, I don't know what you guys mean by a socialist country, since America is is a cobbled together hodgepodge of ideas. It always has been. We've never been purely capitalist. We've never been purely socialist. Even people, before they had names for these things, people like the framers of our Constitution realized they're going to have to kind of cobble together the idea of an economy and how they're going to try to navigate the complexity of economics. Even back then, they understood that. That's why Benjamin Franklin, although, he was a printer, Benjamin Franklin, famous for being a printer, wanted the idea of paper money to be the thing. He wanted paper money. He had to have it. He also wanted to print it. It's kind of funny how that works. But yeah. Sure. I don't think the socialism would have thought of that idea for sure. Having to have people struggle and beg and be whores. Basically, it puts everyone in the working class all the way up to the bourgeoisie. The bourgeoisie and under have to be prostitutes in capitalism. All of us are prostitutes under capitalism. That's just that's just axiomatic at this point. But I really like this. Hearsay is not admissible in court. What about eyewitness testimony? What about the victim's testimony? You see, I think you're talking about Epstein Island and how Trump has at least 3 women now who say that he raped them as little girls. I mean, those women are still alive. Is their testimony count? Or you don't count that either. You don't count that? You don't count that. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I am so glad that you're here. I'm glad that we're talking about socialism and capitalism. Big ideas for the morning show. I got to say, normally I save that stuff for the Sunday show where we get a little more heady. We get a little deeper. The 1 o'clock show, too. We are the Pick Your Battles show. You should come on the show and debate socialism with me. I have a call-in show. It's in a few hours. We could do that. You could call in, tell me all about how you think socialism's bad and capitalism is good. Derp. Derp, 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 derp. Oh, I almost forgot. Thank you so much, Hey Speaker Sargon of Akkad. I appreciate you for donating. I wanted to do bum, bum, bum. Whatever. I never had a single lesson. I don't know. I'm trying. All right. Thank you so much for being here. We got a lot of cover in the news. Lots of stuff going on. Cash Patel is out of that. Cash Yap. I don't think it's fair that people call him Cash. I mean, it's Cash Yap. That's his name, Cash Yap. I think that it's important that we use his full name, Cash Yap Patel. People think when I say that name, I'm making fun of him. I'm not making fun of him. That's his real name, Cash Yap. Cash Yap Patel. I think it's great because you got the 2 P's, Cash Yap Patel, Cash Yap Patel. I think that's great. I think it's got a good name, and I think that you're racist if you don't like the name Cash Yap Patel. I like that name. I think it's cool. I don't know, but that's just me. Maybe it's just me. Thank you. Oh, you've been learning mesh networks as of late. Oh, that's so cool. Man, I really want to get into mesh networks where you can, if any people don't know what we're talking about, without the grid, you can send messages with your phone. But you got to plug your phone into this other device in America. They have phones to, anyway, it's a whole thing. We don't have time to get into that right now. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Did any one of these women or children pay taxes on their earned income? Oh, taxes now. I thought you hated socialism. Taxes. This person wants to know about taxes. I love it. She works hard.
Said that Republicans who don't support a talking filibuster to pass this.
So hard for her money. Look at this. There's Thune trying to tell you why women should not be allowed to vote. Let's listen in.
Should be replaced or primaried. What's your response to him, and what do you make of his tactics around this bill?
Well, again, I'm always I prefer to have our fights with Democrats, and I'm always someone who believes that it's far better for us to have a majority in the United States Senate and to have a majority. There are certain places.
But you have a majority. You got a majority in both houses, and you still can't get nothing done except for brutality and murder in the streets and starting wars that nobody wants. I mean, we got wars raging all over the world now. We've assassinated or kidnapped world leaders. I mean, America is basically the worst country now. Like, as far as everybody else is concerned, we are the ones doing all of the brutalization. We are the colonists. We are the abused child who has grown up to be an abuser. You'd think that we would learn from the example of England. Hey, maybe we shouldn't do those types of things, you know? Maybe we should learn from history and all the horrible shit England did. Nah, let's do exactly what England did. Let's do that. That's great.
Is where you don't, the same Republican in Arkansas, for example, is not going to be the same as a Republican in Maine or someplace in New England. So obviously we're not going to agree on every issue, but I think on the core issues, you kind of come back to the Reagan doctrine and recognize that somebody is with you 80 or 90% of the time. I think most of our colleagues vote with.
Oh, I love this so much. So now, because MAGers have run out of ways to say they're not chomos, now they're okay with child molestation, like this person. This person is pro-child molestation. Kleinsey Jr. These women are abused. Why were they taking their friends to get money too? They were teenagers who were being abused. You freaking weirdo. I'm going to ban you because you make me sick to my stomach. Jesus, where can I ban you? You make me sick to my stomach. You're going to tell me that the women on Epstein's island, the little girls, there were little girls. I mean, they were murdering them. Well, some of them took money. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus, wood chipper for that person. Wood chipper. Put that person in the wood chipper immediately. Immediately. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Holy shit. Reticulum is an interesting mesh network. It's pretty rad. Thank you, DS King of Kings. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, King of Kings. You're amazing. Yes, wood chipper for all the chomos. I cannot believe that this is what I have to deal with. This is what I have to deal with now. That's the type of person that's coming into my chat. Someone who's going to say that the little girls on Epstein Island, that was okay now. It's so funny. First it was it's the Democrats. Then it's a Democrat hoax because Donald Trump is the co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein. Now it's, oh, those girls had it coming. Oh my God! How will you keep coping? How do you maggers cope? I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. All you maggers are okay with child rape now. Okay, that's the position. That is the platform of the MAGA movement. Cool.
The president, north of 90% of the time, are allies, and so we may not agree on everything, but I'm way more in favor of ensuring that we have Republicans holding these seats in the United States.
Yeah, right. No one believes you. No one wants the Republicans to have the majority right now because there are no Republicans left. All we have are craven cowards who kowtow to people like this chomo president, this dementia Don, who thinks that Newsom is the president, for God's sake. Have you noticed how different cultures are reacting to the accusations? Japanese, Korean, Indian, Hispanic cultures reacting very differently. I've noticed, yes, I've noticed, but I think that mostly people react to the hypocrisy. That's what they react to. I think we all kind of have known that since feudalism, the rich and powerful have been exploiting the children of the working class. I feel like we've all known that to some degree, even when you don't know, you know, because, you know, you could go into every McDonald's and see children working there. There are children working at the slaughterhouses. We know that children of the working class are just grist for the mill, slaves for the rich. And we know this, and we kind of accept it. Because, what are we going to do about it, right? What are we going to do about it? But the Republicans come along and they say, no, not us. We care about the family. The family is sacred. The bond between mother and child is sacred. We would never do anything to hurt your kids. It's the hypocrisy that is the annoying thing, I think, for most people, because most people already know that the rich are exploiting the poor, especially the even more politically. How do you become more politically vulnerable? You're poor and a child, or poor and trans, or poor and Jewish, or poor and gay. And if you add poor to any minority, you're toast, man. You're toast. You're lucky you're not in a camp. You're lucky you're not already over in the camp, man.
That's how crazy it's gotten with a low IQ person, because
A low IQ person, a low IQ, Gavin Newsom, low IQ. Let's hear what a low IQ person sounds like, shall we? Let's listen in.
Gavin Newsom has admitted that he has learning disabilities. Honestly, I'm all for people with learning disabilities, but not for my president. I think a president should not have learning disabilities, okay? And I know it's highly controversial to say such a horrible thing. The President of the United States, Gavin Newsom, admitted that he has learning disabilities, dyslexia, everything about him is dumb.
That's right. He just said that the governor, the leader of the fourth richest country in the world this year, California usually oscillates between the fourth and the fifth richest country in the world. Right now, Gavin Newsom, we just made it into top 4 again. We're in the top 4. He's the dumbest person in the world, and he's so dumb because he's got dyslexia. Oh, interesting. I wonder if there's anybody else with dyslexia. They say that Da Vinci had dyslexia. Is he dumb? Was Da Vinci dumb because he had dyslexia? Donald Trump is the smartest. He's got a big brain. He's got a big brain. He also called Gavin Newsom the president of the United States. Did you catch that? Donald Trump called Gavin Newsom president of the United States and then called Gavin Newsom stupid. But he called him Newsom, of course. He called him with his childish playground name because he can't give it up. He has to have a silly name for everybody because he's a child. We're talking about Arrested Development. Donald Trump has done so many lines of blow off of so many stiff erections that he doesn't know which way's up anymore. His brain is addled. I am convinced that that's why he's got so much dementia brain, because he just did too many rails of coke off of too many erection rails. That's the problem. Next level irony, indeed. Trump is an idiot, and so are his supporters. Well, that's true too. Yeah, new scum. Isn't that funny? New scum. It's not even that good of a nickname, man. If that's what counts for comedy where you live, then you got to move. You're clearly in a one-horse town. If you think New Scum is like classic golden comedy, you're gonna have to. You got to leave Tennessee. Okay, just leave. If you got jabbed, you are one of the 86ers, 85ers. Capitalism is designed around exploiting you. If you got jabbed, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's all about the jab. That's what it's all about. Yes, indeed. Facts don't lie. Yes, you're right. We just watched a draft-dodging pedophile call the governor Gavin Newsom president of the United States, and then said he was dumb. How happy are you that every day you wake up and you get to dunk on Trump, life on easy mode? You just told me yesterday. What the hell? You told me yesterday that I had life on hard mode. Oh, that's close. I almost got it. Hey, finally got it. Smoke on the water. Thank you so much. Yesterday you told me I had life on hard mode. Now you're saying I got it on easy mode. Which is it, man? I was actually worried. I actually started looking at my channel. I had all of these AIs. I asked every AI I could to give me a channel diagnostic to see if I was shadow banned. Man, I spent so much time. You say things like that. You're like, oh, Sky, I think you're shadow banned. I think you're shadow banned. Man, I ain't shadow banned. I'm moving up, baby. I'm finding a community online, and it's great. I love it. I love it. Your morality is on hard mode. Well, you know. I get hard easy. Something like that. Thanks for being here. Nailed it, bro. Thank you. I never had one lesson. I'm like Ferris Bueller with the clarinet. Anyway, I thought this was great. You say that I just here to dunk on Donald Trump. I have to admit, he does make it easier, but come on, bro. I mean, listen, this is only half a minute. Let's see.
With a low IQ person, because Gavin Newsom has admitted
Low IQ person. He's got a low IQ person.
that he has learning disabilities. Honestly, I'm all for people with learning disabilities, but no.
This rambling dementia Dawn. Actually, I'm all for people with learning disabilities, but I hate learning You tell me Barron Trump doesn't have learning disabilities? That dude's got so many learning disabilities. He's probably in the STEPS program. That kid's definitely taking the short bus to school. I don't know, he takes his long legs in there, but morality isn't supposed to always be easy. I mean, morality is, what you do. You take the hard road, even though the easy road is there. Hey, thank you so much. Morality is not supposed to be easy. Hey, Speaker Circle. Oh, your goals. Definitely hard mode, but dunking on the orange man, easy, lubed up even. Well, he does make it easier. I mean, the guy, come on, bro.
President.
Like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. He's the president of the United States. He's the most powerful person in the world, supposedly. And look at him.
I think a president should not have learning disabilities.
The president should not have a learning disability. Oh, shit, bro. Come on.
Okay. And I know it's highly controversial to say such a horrible thing. The President of the United States, Gavin Newsom, admitted...
There you go. He just said that Gavin Newsom is the President of the United States. President of the United States. I mean, just the beauty of it, the irony. The irony. Oh, poor Donald Trump. Poor Donald Trump. What are we going to do with you? I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do it. I can barely breathe. Gavin Newsom is President of the United States, y'all. I think if QAnon were here, QAnon would have something to say about that Freudian slip, I think. What do you think?
In the wake of multiple suspected terror attacks across the country, the FBI Director Kash Patel revealed that the Bureau was able to thwart holiday terror plots across 4 states this past December, including multiple ISIS plots under President Trump.
Wow, multiple ISIS plots, says our boy over here. Hanatized. You're about to get hanatized, everybody, but I'm going to hanatize you at 1.5 speed because this guy talks too fucking... Everyone on Fox News talks like really... They talk so slowly because I think because only grandpas watch it now. Is that what it is? Or just maggers? Maggers, they're like, talk more slowly. We got what's the hurry? Why y'all talking so fast? Now, why y'all talking so fast? A ding-dang-do. You better slow down there, Hannity. You about to go. You get yourself a speeding ticket. You go talking so fast with that slick old talk like a New Yorker. You over there talking like a New Yorker. I can't even keep up with y'all. Ding, dang, do.
Is once again committed to preventing violent crime and terrorism on our shores, and the results, they do speak for themselves. Last year, the U.S. saw a 112% increase in violent crime arrests, a 20% decrease in both homicides and robberies, over 6,000 child victims located, 1,700 child predators arrested, and 7 of the FBI's 10 most wanted criminals captured, all while saving taxpayers nearly $5 billion. But
oh, wow.
The real threat created by Joe Biden, over 12 million unvetted illegals.
Now it's 12 million. I thought it was like way more than 12 million. Now it's 12. That's great. I thought Cash Yap Patel was busy going to WWE parties and watching his girlfriend sing songs and, doing all that fun stuff, having wet T-shirt contests with his maximum overload cosplay from Heated Rivalry cosplay with the U.S. men's national hockey team. I thought that's what he was doing. He was busy catching people, I guess.
From over 200 countries, many
suspected terrorists, he said. Suspected.
Of those countries that have ties to terrorism in light of 4 high-profile incidents since the start of the conflict.
You're from a country? Oh, my God. That's great. If you're from a country who is known for terrorism, you must be a terrorist. I guess that makes us all terrorists because America, once again, bombs civilians. A terrorist, by definition, is a group or individual who attacks a civilian population for political goals. That describes the American government. Oh my God, how many civilians have we killed just in the last 18 months alone? We kill so many civilians. It's like it's civilian season. No, it's not. It's Wabbit season. It's civilian season. These Elmer Fuds with their stupid red MAGA hats. It's civilian season. Shh, I'm hunting civilians. I'm hunting children. Shh, I'm hunting children. They're basically Elmer Fudd hunting children, aren't they? Oh, God. These pedophiles, these chomos, these horrible dog people, these machines, these animals, they're worse. It's funny, I say animals, but that just degrades animals. I would call them animals, but animals are cleaner. Animals are cleaner than Donald Trump and his creepy crew.
Like in Iran, how concerned should Americans be? Are they going to trigger a sleeper cell that might be here? FBI Director Cash.
I love that someone says liberal propaganda. Here we are watching Fox News propaganda. This is liberal propaganda. I love that I see that in the chat. Liberal propaganda, huh? Sean Hannity, liberal propaganda, everybody.
Here with more. I believe that was the most first of all, those numbers are astounding, and we'll put up more as we go through, this interview. The most preventable.
Astounding. The numbers coming out of the FBI are astounding. One might say, unbelievable. As in, like, only an idiot would believe anything coming out of this FBI. Do you believe anything this FBI says? Do you want to go back to that Robinson kid who supposedly killed Charlie Kirk? And trust me, we have the text messages. My dear, my love, my one and only, I shall return after the squad car circles back after the quad. I mean, oh my God. No one believes that Tyler Robinson kid wrote that shit, right? Nobody believes that, right? The FBI. You believe anything coming out of the FBI after that? Come on.
National security disaster.
Hey, where's that Nancy, what's her face? Nancy Guthrie. How's that case coming there? Cash Yap Patel. How's Nancy come? Where's Nancy at? Justice for Nancy. Oh, you were at the Olympics when that was happening. You were having a wet T-shirt contest with the hockey team. Wow, okay.
In history, known terrorists, murderers, rapists, child molesters, other violent criminals, cartel members, gang dealers, gang members, and drug dealers. And I'm wondering, do you believe do we have known terrorists in the country because of Joe's open borders?
Sean, it's great to be here with you. Look, we had a record-setting year under President Trump, as you outlined, because he put the safety of Americans first. But we had a record-setting year because we had 34,000 violent offenders to arrest because the prior administration flooded America's streets with criminals, violent criminals. And what we need to focus on is how do we stop terrorist attacks like we did? This FBI stopped 4 attacks in this past December alone, from a sweeping bombing campaign in Southern California to an ISIS mass casualty event in Pennsylvania.
This president is basically Jack Bauer. Jack Bauer from 24. Look out. Donald Trump is Jack Bauer. He's going to stop all the terrorism by making sure that you don't disseminate literature or say anything bad about him. Terrorist. If you say one bad word about Donald Trump, you're a terrorist. Just like that one guy we arrested for having, books about anarchy. It's against the law.
to a North Carolina man who was ISIS-inspired that wanted to shoot tons of people on New Year's Eve. That's just for in the month of December. Before that, we stopped the Pumpkin Day plot where multiple individuals and multiple...
That's a technical term. A guy who was on New Year's Eve, ISIS-inspired, wanted to shoot tons of people.
Jurisdictions wanted to shoot people on Halloween, and just last week, 9 individuals were convicted.
Want to shoot people on Halloween? I'm sorry. The FBI is a terrorist organization. The FBI spent lots of time trying to kill Martin Luther King Jr., and they were successful. They killed Fred Hampton. The FBI murdered these people. We're supposed to be like, yeah, we trust them. We trust them. I mean, literally, the only thing that makes the FBI tolerable, and they're not, they're intolerable, but the only thing that used to be their saving grace is that when someone was kidnapped, the FBI stepped in and was like, we got them, we got this, we're gonna catch some kidnappers. But they couldn't do that, could they? They couldn't do that. Poor Nancy Guthrie's in a shallow grave someplace, and we still don't know what's going on. We have no idea what's happening there. But I'm glad that Kasia Patel was able to go to Milan. That was pretty cool. And you say they killed Epstein, man, but I'm starting to think that little orange flash on the camera, that little orange flash, I think that was him escaping. I think they got him out of there. I think they did a switcheroo. I think the old switcheroo happened. I don't think that Jeffrey Epstein's dead anymore, man. I'm not, I don't know, but I don't think that I don't know. But if Jeffrey Epstein came out and did a little jazz hand dance, would you be surprised if tomorrow we found out that if they arrested Jeffrey Epstein tomorrow in, say, Monaco, would that surprise you at this point? It wouldn't surprise me at all. Oh my God, this person. All right, you're getting banned. Thank you. We're doing banning today. Oh, you probably are the person I banned, aren't you? Yeah, that makes sense. The person I banned was a person who was pro Chomo. So there you go. Great. Now you're banned again. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Way to go.
They're unpopular and unfazed. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, if you spend too much time on social media, you might think that the Republican Party...
Look at this liberal. Laura Ingraham, liberal.
...is heading for an absolute drubbing in November. The war in Iran, oil prices jumping, the GOP infighting, and before that, the Minnesota chaos, all the signaling, a major slide out of the majority for Republicans. And Democrats, you think, are sitting in the catbird seat. Well, tonight I'm telling you, don't believe the hype. The truth is...
Don't believe the hype, everybody. Everyone loves the war in Iran. Everyone loves Chomos now. Everybody thinks it's great. We have burner accounts going on. It's so ridiculous.
The Democrats are suffering from a battered...
I'm just going to let you keep going because I enjoy the engagement. I know that the engagement helps my channel, so I'm just going to let you keep posting there in the chat. Thanks.
Brand syndrome. A new CNN poll shows us that their favorability is around 29%, a record low going back to 1992. Good going. And last week, another survey by NBC News found similar results. Only 30% of registered voters view the Democratic Party positively, while 52% view it negatively.
I mean, everybody hates the Democrats. I mean, that's a funny statistic. Hey, do you hate Democrats? Yes. Will you vote for the Chomocracy again? No. So you're voting Democrat? Probably. Well, don't you hate them, though? Well, yeah, but it's either the people that I hate or voting for literal Nazi child molesters. Like, which one is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate the Democrats, and I'm probably not going to vote for a Democrat in the presidential election, depending on who they run. But I'm guessing it's going to be somebody that I hate, someone that I can't stomach, because, man, I get a physical reaction when I go, and I got to vote for somebody I hate, man. I want to vomit when Kamala Harris, oh, God, like, come on. But seriously, between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, it's like, okay, a cop who ruined a bunch of people's lives as the attorney general, Miss Law and Order, just following orders, sir, that lady, or a pedophile Nazi. Like, which one? It's hard, like, it's a hard decision on that one. But luckily, I live in a place where my vote really doesn't matter very much at that level, so I'll be all right. I get to vote my conscience. I hope you get to vote your conscience, too. It's rad. Thank you.
The New York Post put it all in context. the Democratic Party has a lower net favorability rating than its Republican rivals, President Trump, and even the much maligned Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE. Now, the internal satisfaction among Dems, that's not great either. Only 62% to 63% of Democrats approve of their party's leadership in Congress. Republicans, though, actually did much better. Among their voters, they have a 77% approval
Among
rating.
their voters.
The release of the NBC News survey.
That's so funny. The reason why, this is such good propaganda. This is why I love Fox News. People are like, why do you watch Fox News every day? Because I love watching the propaganda. I love watching the propaganda machine at work. Do you hear what she said? She said, Democrats who vote people who vote Democrats, how do they feel about the Congress? Well, shit, everyone traditionally hates the Congress. But of course, people hate the Democrats in Congress right now because they're not able to stand up to Donald Trump in a meaningful way, often because of just the mechanics of our government, but also just as often cowardice. Like, I don't like cowards. And a lot of Democrats are watching the Congress and they're like, you don't represent me. How are you not standing up to these chomo Nazis? I can't believe that you're allowing this to happen. And they're like, the Democrats are going, well, we need more votes. You don't have anything you can do. Like, do something, asshole. Give me a break. I want to see you in front of the ICE concentration camps. I want to see you there. I want to see you throwing your body in front of the fucking police cars. Where are you? Why aren't you getting arrested by ICE? I want to see it. Get out there with the whistle. Let's see you get bear sprayed. I want to see it. I want to see a congressperson get bear sprayed. I want to see it, man. There aren't enough. Not enough of them are standing up. So here we are. And then they're like, well, Republicans, people who vote Republican, they like the Republicans 77% of the time of Congress. That ain't good, man. That ain't a good turnout either. He's speaking Sargon of Akkad. He watches Fox News so he doesn't have to defend his insane ideological positions. I defend them every day. I have a call-in show now because of you. You wanted a call-in show. We're doing call-in shows now. Thank you so much. Hey, Speaker Sargon of Akkad for putting a penny in the pot. How dare you say that I can't defend my crazy positions? I have a whole show about defending my crazy positions. Thank you so much. I appreciate you very much. Let's go. Oh, Jesus. Let's get rid of this racist now. Thank you. We got a racist. Not you, Steve. We're getting rid of the one saying the N-word in there. Thank you. All right. We got one more gone. Great. Okay. Do you guys do anything to make the country better other than complain about how oppressed you are? For crying out loud, be a better person. What are you doing, Blue Oxygen? You want to come on the show and tell me about all the activism you're doing? I'd love to know, because I actually do shit to make the world a better place. What do you do is the question, you fucking stone thrower. You're the people in the Bible that Jesus warns against. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. You hypocrite. This is what I hate about you stupid maggers. What are you doing? You don't even speak up against the ruling class. You don't even challenge your boss. You're the bootlicker who says, oh, my boss is my favorite person. He's my best friend. I love my boss. He's the best guy ever. I love my president. He's my favorite politician. He's the best person ever. I just love him. This is the problem in America. We got a bunch of bootlickers and hall monitors. It's an embarrassment. God damn. What are you doing to make the world a better place? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Came a few days after the latest Fox poll that indicated a record 70% of registered voters disapproved of the job congressional Democrats are doing. Yikes. So why are the Democrats so unpopular? Because Americans know...
Why are the Democrats so unpopular? Well, I'll tell you why. Laura, I want to hear what Laura has to say, but I'll mansplain it for you too. The reason why the Democrats are unpopular is because they're powerless. They're spineless. They don't actually get anything done when they're in office and they have all the power. They don't get anything done. They don't do anything for the people. They don't stand up for the people or resist. They're a shitty resistance party. They're a failed party. The Democrats are a bunch of spineless bastards. They have no party unity. They have no discernible thing that binds them all together except for they don't like Donald Trump. They abandoned the working class and went after more suburban and upper middle class in order to fight the Republicans. And what has become of them? They no longer represent the working class. They no longer represent the poor. The Democrats don't represent the people they used to. They've switched. They're somewhere in this weird liminal space, this kind of purgatory for a party. And they don't mean anything anymore. They don't stand for anything anymore. That's what the Democrats are doing. There's nothing. They're farts in the wind. There might be some individuals in there worth a damn, but as a party, the Democrats suck. It's pretty simple. They turned their back on the poor and the working class. They went after the suburban white vote, and they basically became Republicans. Oh, we've got to be more moderate so the Republicans will vote for us. They still lose election. They sold their souls, and they still lose. And then when they're in office, they don't get anything done. I mean, they get some things done. Oh, Barack Obama got a couple big things done, but, it was kind of shitty. Major disappointment. Let's hear what Ingram says.
Instead of prioritizing their safety, their well-being, they instead support degenerates like Rogerio Martinez, who on Friday allegedly went on a bus stop stabbing spree, leaving one victim critically wounded and another bloodied. This thug had been already arrested 6 times in Texas over 22 years, including aggravated robbery, aggravated assault.
There you go. See, Laura Ingram thinks because they're not as hardcore about law and order, that's the problem. They're not arresting enough people. That's the problem with the Democrats. And the Democrats believe it. The Democrats now will hear shit like Laura Ingram, and they'll go out there and be like, we need to be more hardcore. We need to be more law and order. We need to be more like cops. They believe this shit, and you always hear like the Democrats always have to like overprove the fact that they want safe streets. It's like we all want safe streets. That's a given. But because the Republicans are always like, the Democrats want your kids in the streets, and I don't know, they always have these things like they want criminals roaming free. And so the Democrats go overboard, and they're like, no, we love fucking criminals. We hate criminals. Let's give the jails more money. Thank you so much, Steve. Steve says that I think hugging a chicken makes a difference. I think rescuing chickens make a difference. I think telling people what happens to chickens makes a difference. Oh, this coffee's so good. I'm drinking coffee, by the way. It's from Death Wish Coffee. They say it's the strongest coffee on earth, and I like it. I like it strong and black and wet. That's how I like my coffee. Never mind. And I have this Yeti cup, and it's nice and hot, super hot. It's so hot. I want Yeti to give me a new French press. I need that Yeti French press, but it's like $100, bro. And I can't justify the expense, It sucks.
Here to explain, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, thank you.
Man, they got everybody out. They're doing damage control. The fact they got Kashia Patel and Senator Cruz out on Hannity on the same night, what are they trying to cover up right now?
I know you and Senator Mike Lee have pushed for.
Could it be an unpopular war? Could it be the 13 dead American soldiers? Could it be a school full of children that we vaporized and burned alive? Could it be that? Why are we doing this?
A standing filibuster. I know that there's some doubt among some Republicans whether the votes are there. I don't know if it would push it to that. There's also concern about handing over the Senate floor to Democrats, forcing votes that Republicans don't want to take. That is normal procedure in the Senate. Where do we stand tonight?
Listen, I think we should do everything humanly possible to pass the Save America Act. I think we should use every procedural tool. I think we should force the Democrats to do a talking filibuster. Right now, when the Democrats filibuster a bill, they don't do what has been the way the Senate has operated for decades. Think Jimmy Stewart in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, where he stood up there and he talked and he talked and he talked and he was ready to fall over. That was a filibuster. Think back to 2013, where I spent 21 hours.
Yeah, they stopped doing that because Strom Thurmond was there for so damn long. Nobody wants someone standing up. They want to go back to a standing filibuster like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Love the idea. Are you going to let Mr. Smith come to Washington? We can all filibuster? Could I go to Washington and filibuster? Are we going to go back to that, Ted? No, we don't want the will of the people to be expressed in the halls of Congress. How dare you suggest something silly thing? We want our old-ass senators to have to stand there and do it. Well, the thing is, we have Cory Booker. He went like 28 hours. He'll do it again. fuck yourself. The whole reason they don't do that is because it's a waste of time and money. And now they just say, hey, you could break the filibuster if you do 60 votes anyway. Let's just say, hey, I filibuster, and therefore you need to have the majority, the supermajority, the 60. You need 60 people to break a filibuster. A little civics lesson for you. It used to be you had to stand up and keep talking for a really long time if you wanted to prevent a vote, and it didn't really work because people can just wait you out. But Strom Thurmond, he read from the Bible, he read from the phone book, he did the longest one. That racist, rapist Strom Thurmond. Rest in piss, Strom Thurmond. He was also, I think, the oldest senator who ever lived, not at the time of doing his filibuster, and I'm 99% sure, I'm 100% sure he did the filibuster to keep black kids from going to white schools, and so they said, this ain't right to do this. We need to get a different situation. So the Senate agreed to change their rules to have a filibuster be largely symbolic, to say, I want a filibuster. And then when you do that, that triggers this thing, this new rule that says you got to have 60 votes in the Senate in order to get anything done. That's the new rule. Now, the Republicans want to go against that all of a sudden, but they've traditionally have not wanted to, because if you do, well, next time the Democrats are in power, it's going to not look good. They could actually get something done. The Democrats usually can't get anything done. I told you before, because they're powerless and also spineless, because even when they have the supermajority, they don't do anything. Like when Barack Obama had both houses, and he's like, let's do consensus. Let's try to get everyone on the same page. They're spineless bastards. But if they had no filibuster, or a standing filibuster with all those geriatric Republicans, you could probably get some shit done, probably. And they don't want that. They don't want that.
Filibustering against Obamacare. That's a filibuster. Right now, we don't make the Democrats talk for even 10 minutes. They just raise
it. We don't make the Democrats talk. God, this is why I love Fox News. We don't make the Democrats talk for 10 minutes. Yeah, nobody, and it's not just a Democrat thing. This is a Republican and Democrat thing. The senators at this point could get rid of the filibuster. They likely will not, because it screws them. It takes power away from the people, the senators, not the people. No one cares about the people. It takes power away from the Senate. They have institutional pride, and they don't want to give it up.
Finger and say, I filibuster. And we treat that as okay. And what I have been arguing, and Mike Lee has been arguing, is let's use the Senate rules and force them to talk and make them talk all night and make them talk and talk and talk till they can't stand anymore. This bill is incredibly important. And this bill is basic common sense, Sean. What the Save America Act says is just two things. Number one, you should have to demonstrate you're an American citizen to register to vote. That ought to be simple. That ought to be basic. And number two, you should have to show a photo ID to actually vote. Again, that is common sense. The overwhelming majority of Americans agree with that. 81% of...
Yeah, exactly. I told you, this is why people hate the Democrats. Like Laura Ingraham said, why do people hate the Democrats? She's got this bullshit idea about law and order, of course, because she's a fascist. But no, people hate the Democrats because they turned their back on the working class and the poor, and they started going after the white middle class, upper middle class suburban elite. That's what they wanted, because they wanted to take that voting bloc away from the Republicans. And they still lose elections though, but they keep doing it. They keep trying to make sure that they go after those people. Sky eyebrows is Nancy Pelosi eyebrows. Nice. Well, she spent a lot of money on those eyebrows, so hey, there you go. How many accounts does Emma have? Yeah, this 14-year-old has a lot of accounts. Has all the time in the world. Yeah, that's true. Just ignore the trolls, guys. Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls.
Americans agree with photo ID to vote. And by the way, it's not just Americans writ large. It's also, the Democrats argue that this disenfranchises minorities. You know who disagrees with them on that? Minorities. 81% of Hispanics agree with requiring photo ID to vote. 75% of African Americans agree with requiring photo.
Requiring photo ID is not what we're talking about. Voter ID, like the one in the SAVE Act, is not photo ID. It's a new ID or a passport. That's the way it is. He's lying right now. 81% of people want a photo ID. You already have to use a photo ID at the passport, when you go vote at the polls, you have to use a photo ID. Usually, if you don't have one, you have to have something. And then you just you don't have to have, it doesn't have to be a photo ID. It can be some form of ID, and you got to be at the right place at the right time. And they've got all of these things in order so that they make sure if you lie, they can catch you. And they usually arrest people that get caught. Voter fraud is just not a thing, man. And the people who do it, we catch them. They get caught because it's kind of a pretty good system. We've been doing it for 250 years. Modernize it if you want. But at the end of the day, that's up to the states. That's not up to the federal government. The federal government's got no business coming into the states to tell us how to do what's what.
ID to vote. And here's an amazing one. 70% of Democrats agree with requiring photo ID to vote. It's just
That's not the same thing as supporting the SAVE Act. He's just misleading you. This is 100%. This is just cold bologna sandwich propaganda.
just the elected Democrats, and it's not complicated why. The Democrats let 12 million illegals flood into this country, and the Democrats in Congress, they want those illegals to vote for Democrats.
It's, again, illegals don't vote. It's very difficult to vote as an illegal. There's no such thing as an illegal person. Undocumented people, if you called them what they actually are, undocumented workers or undocumented residents, those people are undocumented. It's right there in the name. It's really difficult to register to vote. Who are they voting? Are they voting under someone else's registration? You're telling me they got a citizen to register and they're going in and standing in as an imposter? They got their friend who is a citizen to register to vote, and then they show up that day and they vote? Is that what you're afraid of? Doesn't seem like a very good way to steal an election. Man, how are the Democrats making that happen?
To keep them in power and to give them control of Congress. And they're willing to fight tooth and nail to let illegal immigrants vote. That is wrong, and it is undermining democracy in our country.
Senator, I guess I'll quote our friend Chad Pergram. It's all about the math. Do we have enough votes to force the standing filibuster? I did my own little whip count. I don't see enough votes to get rid of cloture.
You learned how to count.
So my question is,
Hannity learned how to count.
will you have enough Republicans that will stand with you for that very thing that you're calling for, which is Mr. Smith goes to Washington to a standing filibuster? And what about concerns some Republicans have about handing over the floor to Schumer and the Democrats and forcing they will?
So then why are you here, Ted Cruz? So you don't have the votes. You're full of shit. You're telling lies. Why are you here? Oh, in order to spread misinformation on Fox News? Got it.
Be forcing votes Republicans don't want to take.
Look, it is close. I don't know if we have the votes.
You
a lot of people
don't.
are saying we don't have the votes. To be able to do this, we've got to be able to hold 50 Republicans. It's not clear we can hold 50 Republicans. And we've been having this argument for several weeks in the Senate
You
Republican
can't.
Conference. And I've been standing up and saying, listen, this is what we need to do. And my colleagues have said, well,
Everyone knows you're a lying sack of shit. They don't trust you.
gosh, Ted, what if we lose? Won't that
Well, gosh, Ted, what if we lose? Gosh, Ted, what if we lose? I don't know. Won't that make us all look like a bunch of do-nothing assholes? Yes, it makes you look like a bunch of partisan hacks because that's what you are. Ted Cruz is a very stupid and evil man. I'll just point to his interview with Tucker Carlson where Ted Cruz was saying we got to go bomb Iran. Don't you remember? Way before we were bombing Iran, like a month before, Ted Cruz was saying how much he wants to kill Iranians. We got to go and bomb Iran. Bomb Iran. And you know what? Tucker asked him? He said, well, how many people live in Iran? And Ted Cruz said, well, I don't know. I'm not an expert. Well, you're talking about bombing them, killing millions of people. What are you talking about? How big is it? And he didn't know. And then he said, well, how big is their Navy? And Ted Cruz like, well, I'm not an expert on Iran, but you're on major media outlets calling for the bombing of Iran, and you don't know how many people live there, how many boats are in their Navy. Like, these are basic things. These are things that I know. I'm just a fucking YouTuber. How the hell does it Ted Cruz know? Ted Cruz is the guy in charge. But he's a high IQ. He's a high IQ individual. Trust me, he's got a really high IQ. He's a huge high IQ. Holy shit. Didn't Ted Cruz say he would get into it in order to save Israel? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes. Because he's owned by the Israelis. He's owned by Israel, just like we are. We're owned by Israel. We are Israel's rent-a-cop at this point. We used to be the world police. Now we're just Israel's rent-a-cop. mercenary army. We're just the pirates of the Caribbean at this point, for God's sake. We're privateers owned by another government that we propped up in the first place, and American taxpayers are paying for their health insurance. We can't get health insurance here, though. But we'll pay for Israel's health insurance and their child allowance, child care allowance. Oh, my God, they get child allowances? Yeah, they get money every month when they have babies. We get nothing. We get nothing. I don't know how these maggers can get nothing out of this, and yet they support spending $1 billion a day, just dumping 1 billion greenbacks into the desert every day out there in Iran. They don't even know how many people live there, by the way. The Navy had about 100 boats, and there's about 90 million people living in it's about 3 times the size of the Canadian population. Think about the population of Canada. Iran has almost 2.5 to 3 times as many people. It's about twice the size of California. But this high IQ individual.
Demoralize voters. And I said, you know what? Maybe we lose. I don't know if we win or lose, but I'll tell you what will definitely demoralize voters. If we don't even stand up and fight, it's 100%.
You're not standing up and fighting for anyone but Israel. Ted Cruz is a partisan hack. That's how everyone knows he's not trustworthy, just like all the other maggers. This is why the only trustworthy people left in Congress, well, on the Republican side at least, are people like Rand Paul, who actually has values and principles. I disagree with a lot of what Rand Paul and Thomas Massey say and do, but at least they got some goddamn principles, for God's sake, bro. They aren't just bought and sold so easily. Those Kentucky boys, they got something going on down there. If someone's username ends with keyboard smash bot, okay, I'm not paying attention to everyone's name. Everyone's name has little numbers after and everything. All right, thank you so much for that. If you're just tuning in, my name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech, and critical thinking advocate. This is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube, The Morning Sky. I hate the Republicans and I hate the Democrats, and they both hate me. If you're an independent thinker, critical thinking, if you value things like that, please hit the subscribe button. If you think anarchism is maturity and or just want to talk about why being your own leader is preferable than following everyone else, then please. If you're into autonomy and self-reliance and thinking for yourself, please hit that subscribe button. If you hate all the things that I just mentioned, well, hit the like button. It keeps the chat engaged. Every time you hit the like button, YouTube sends more people into the chat, but it doesn't help me as a channel maker, but still helps the chat. If you like robust conversation, hit the like button. If you like any of the other things I mentioned, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Specifically, someone named John Gordon. I don't know who that is, bro, but thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you supporting the channel anyway. Thank you, DS King of Kings. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, amazing. Amazing stuff over at Touch. Should we finish the Ted Cruz thing? It's just a couple more seconds. Let's finish it. I mean, after all, you're here, I'm here, Ted Cruz is here.
We lose if we don't even try. And if we stand there for week after week and we keep the Democrats there all night and we have them exhausted and we're fighting with everything we have.
Did you think that's how it's going to play out?
Maybe we come up just short or maybe we win. By the way, you want to know how the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed? The Southern Democrats, the Dixiecrats, the racist, they kept the vote open for months. They pounded and pounded and pounded, and the opposition collapsed. They were willing to fight. And so what I'm urging my Republican colleagues, we ought to be willing to fight. But if we don't fight, people are going to understandably be
the Dixiecrats. I like that he even knows what Dixiecrat is. You know, his Texan president, there's really only been one because technically George W. Bush is from Massachusetts, but George W. Bush lived in Texas. So he was the governor of Texas. So you kind of have two Texans who ever became president. One was Republican, George W. Bush. He created ICE. He created the concentration camp system in America, and you know, the Patriot Act, and he spied on American citizens, and 9/11 happened on his watch. You know, George W. Bush. You know him. You love him. But the other one was Lyndon B. Johnson, and he signed the Civil Rights Act, and he was a Democrat. ooh, it's almost like those days in the 60s were a little bit more complicated and people voted their conscience and according to their values a little bit more than just aligning with their party. I wish we could go back to those days in many ways. I mean, they weren't perfect, but at least the people who were on either side had these like values and principles they lived by and didn't just do whatever the party told them to. If that sounds like something you like and subscribe. I like the idea of having principles and values and not calling myself any club. I don't want to be in some club. Sam Houston, he was president. Sam Houston was not president. With the president of what? Texas? No, sorry. Sam Houston was never president of the United States. Thank you so much for playing, though. Paul G, everybody. Paul, thanks for playing. Sam Houston was never president. Thank you. What about Davy Crockett? Born on a mountaintop of Tennessee. Killed a bar when he was only a 3. Most beautiful land you ever did see. Davy Crockett. What about Davy Crockett? Never president. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Ted Cruz.
Each of those grants.
Oh, this is going to love it. My friend Steve, he loves watching these guys. These guys, the former Doge member, what's he got to say? I love that they're making these depositions public now. Let's see.
Funded projects, real projects by real people, kind of working on scholarly works. Some of those funds were used to pay for housing and to generally further their work. Now those funds are gone. Does that make you feel anything in particular?
Objection. No.
Okay. You don't regret that people might have lost important income to support their lives?
Objection. No. I think it was more important to reduce the federal deficit from $2 trillion to close to 0.
Did you reduce the federal deficit?
No, we didn't.
I don't care that we missed anything. I don't care that things got shut down. I don't care. I thought it was more important to lower the federal deficit to 0. Well, did you do it? No. So you don't care that all of these important things got cut and all these people suffered. You don't care how many children died. You don't care. I care about the deficit more than people's lives. Okay, well, were you successful in lowering the deficit? No. We just killed people for no reason. Hey, Elon Musk wannabe. Elon Musk is a wannabe Skyjack Morgan. That dude has paid, the richest man who ever lived has paid so much money to try to live like me. Holy shit, that guy. He spent so much money. He got hair plugs. I mean, my hairline, it's, I'm getting older. I like my 5 head. I don't mind it. I think I look distinguished. But he had to get hair plugs. He had no hair, He had no hair. He had to get plugs. He had to get teeth implants. I've never had a cavity. He had to get a jaw implant because his jaw was weak and ugly, I guess. I don't know. I think people should just go with what they're doing. Let them, just try to live your life. Why do you got to get so many implants to look like me, Elon? Elon's like the Temu version of me. He had to have so much gender-affirming care to look like a real man. He had a penis implant. You all know about Elon Musk's penis implant. I mean, for obvious reasons. He had to have a penis implant to look more like me because I got a big dick. And so he had to go all over the place trying to get it, and they botched it, man. That's why he has his women sign an NDA every time he sleeps with them. Can you imagine being the richest man in the world and you had such a micro penis, you had to get a penis implant? Now, since it's so ugly and just deformed, now you have to have women sign a non-disclosure agreement every time they sleep with you. Man, that's a bummer, bro. That's a bummer. Elon Musk, the richest man who ever lived, trying to have gender-affirming care to look like me. Thank you. You can literally not justify mass theft via inflation. There's no fertile ground for your commentary in my mind. You're just blowing hot air here. Inflation? Inflation hasn't gone down under MAGAs. What do you mean? So what you mean is that Democrats and Republicans are both bad because inflation happens under both parties almost unavoidably, that inflation somehow miraculously is always stuck at a little under 3% and we can't do anything about it. It only went up because of things like pandemic and weirdness, like Donald Trump spending billions and billions and billions of dollars bailing out massive corporations and causing a 9% spike in inflation, and then a bipartisan bill led by Biden bringing it down, and now we're back to about 3%. Donald Trump gets elected, promises to have deflation in the form of lower prices, and no, we still have inflation. It's about 2.5 to 2.7%, depending on who you ask. So, I mean, what do you mean? Inflation. If you hate inflation, then join me in hating both parties. Thank you so much. Hate both parties, but if you really hate inflation, there's only one person you can hate, and that is Donald J. Trump. And because mostly he fumbled during the pandemic, like he instead of just giving money to you, he gave money to the oligarchs and said, "Hey, could you break off a little piece to your people?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." Yeah, sure. We're going to give some to the people. Don't you worry. Yeah. And so he gave billions of dollars to corporations instead of just giving it to you, the people who would pay money. Like what they did, they take the money and they buy back their stock. That's what they were doing because the stock market was in the toilet, and they gave the corporations money in order to buy back their own stock. So you got screwed. What he could have done is they proved that they could miraculously send a check to every American in America, every citizen. So why didn't they just give us bigger checks, and then we would have spent the money? Most Americans, when they got the money, they just went out and bought shit because that spins the economy. That's actually pretty good. I went out and bought this laptop. I did all sorts of stuff. I got my, $2,000, whatever it was. I went out and spent that money. Most Americans did. The corporations did not. They bought back stock. That's what they did, because saving the stock market was more important than saving the American people. Thank you, everybody. Why would you give money to the American people? They might buy stock. Oh, that would be horrible. The more American people buying stock? No, we want the oligarchs owning all the stock. If you hate inflation, then there's only one person that you should hate right now, and that's Donald J. Trump. Or maybe some historical people. But like right now, the only person to hate, if you hate inflation, Donald Trump and his mishandling of the pandemic. That's it. Thanks for playing. And this guy, you can hate this guy too. This guy, you can hate him if you want.
All right, joining us now with reaction, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator, I listened to Steve Witkoff, and you and I come to...
Oh, man. Even Lindsey Graham is on Hannity last night? Bro, we got all the heavy hitters. You know that they are afraid if they got Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, and that other everyone's on everyone. It was a star-studded evening over on the Hannity show last night. Thank you so much for playing. Please hit that like and subscribe button or drop a penny in the pot and support the channel. Independent media is so important because almost all independent media is being canceled right now. It's being subdued and suppressed. If you don't hit the subscribe button, you'll probably never see me again because Google is being coerced into suppressing independent voices. I don't care that they failed. I fail constantly. I entertain nothing that isn't in direct 180 opposition to the establishment. Doge was not anti-establishment, buddy. That was not anti-establishment. You could say it was anti-institution, I guess, but it's not anti-establishment. Thank you so much for joining. That was my stylophone. I've never played it before. That's never had a single lesson. Thank you so much. I appreciate you very much. Diesel's now $6 over here. Holy jeez. Yeah, I mean, I walked to the gas station yesterday to pick up a beer, and I was like, wow, it's like almost $6 for regular out here. I mean, shit, son. It's getting expensive. But don't worry, the strategic reserves will be released any moment now. All those strategic reserves are going straight into your pocket. Don't you worry. We care about the people. The people, we love them.
Same conclusion on this, because you've been on the program. You were on that night after he was on. And first, the president pushed hard peace. I want a deal. I want a deal. I want a deal. I want a deal. Before Midnight Hammer, 50 days he gave them to reach.
Midnight Hammer. Look, you know that Donald Trump is the gayest president. Donald Trump is our first gay president. I want to give him the Midnight Hammer with my epic furry. I love all of these things. I love Midtown Melter. Yes. Doesn't matter. The direction was correct. What direction? Killing kids in Africa? Which direction did you like about Doge? What? Digging around in the information of our citizens in order to sell that information from Social Security, for example, to large corporations so that they can spy on us and take our money? Is that what the direction? Bro, it was a snow job. Doge was not there to accomplish what they say or what that kid believes. You think that the direction actually was eliminating the deficit? That's ridiculous. We already know how to eliminate the deficit. Like, we already know how to eliminate the deficit, and it's the military. We have the largest military in the world, 10 times larger than the next 5. I mean, it's just, come on, man. We already know if it gave a fuck about the deficit. Oh, let's cut. What about those kids in Africa? Let's kill them instead of cutting the budget. No, they didn't cut the budget. They didn't cut the budget at all. You can't say that Doge was trying to cut the budget while during the same time the big beautiful bill was making its way through Congress. Big beautiful bill increased spending. And it didn't find any waste, fraud, or abuse. It didn't find any savings. Utter failure. Because that wasn't the goal in the first place. It never was. We all know how to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse in America. If you cared, you'd start at the military. They're the ones that never pass audits, have a bunch of dark money, a ton of slush funds, organizations like the CIA and the NSA that seem to operate independently. We don't even know what the hell they're doing half the time. Very little oversight. Billions of dollars left in the desert. We don't even know. Like, this is what we're talking about, man. And you're going to say, oh, well, I love the direction of Doge. The direction of Doge was to trick you. They successfully tricked you. That's all it was. It was a trick. It was a sleight of hand trick. Look over here. Look over here. And it's a gypsy trick, man. Look at the dancing girl. And meanwhile, they're picking your pockets. That's what that was. It was the dancing girl, and you fell for it. Lindsey Graham doesn't fall for dancing girls there, though. I don't know what it is about Lindsey Graham, but he just doesn't like dancing girls.
A deal with Israel and America. Didn't happen. Now, 460 kilograms, they're bragging about it. In 10 days, that's weapons grade, 90% enrichment. That's 11 bombs. The president was unwilling to take that risk. There's no doubt it was an imminent threat.
Yeah, none at all. And why can't you find this anywhere but on your show and some other conservative outlets? This is a night.
Because there's no evidence that they were an imminent threat. Show me the evidence. Show me the evidence. Epic furry. Epic failure.
For the American liberals and American media who, quite frankly, fear Trump being successful more than they fear the Ayatollah having a bomb. That's how sick these people are. If it were known to the American public that they were less than 2 weeks away from having 10 bombs and Trump acted, it would change everything.
That would change everything. It's too bad that you have no evidence of that. It would change everything. If you can prove that they were 2 weeks away from a bomb and they had a delivery method by which to bring it to America, yeah, maybe it would change things. It's too bad you're lying. It's too bad.
They're suppressing this story. To my friends at the White House, you should take this story and run. It is national security malpractice not to be telling this every day. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were able to find out from negotiations.
You remember when Lindsey Graham said, only a crazy person would go over to Iran and ding-dang-do. We can't let that happen.
Shedding with the Iranians, how close they were to a nuclear weapon. Instead of running in fear, Trump blew up their enrichment facilities. I cannot stress this enough. When President Trump was told...
Got away with it, too. He got away with bombing those enrichment facilities. But now he's got full-fledged war and a school full of dead kids that seem to be intentionally bombed.
They have enough 60% highly enriched uranium to make to get to 90% in 2 weeks, which would be 10 bombs. He blew up their enrichment facilities so they couldn't go from 60 to 90.
Yeah, that'd be great. Any kind of evidence, any evidence at all? Would you like to present any? Well, no, I mean, you just gotta have to trust me, bro. Trust me. It's so funny. MAGers, it is really the trust me, bro party, and they just run on vibes. It's like, it really is like a frat house, you know? The White House is just a frat house where little girls go to get raped, and they just make shit up, and as long as they could keep the girls out. And they hired a couple of women, but don't worry, they'll both be fired soon. Oh, Kristi Noem's already fired, you say? Susan Weeks got breast cancer and they're laughing about it. Oh, geez. They're laughing about her breast cancer? Yeah. Breast cancer apparently is a laughing matter for maggers.
Save the world from a nuclear-armed Ayatollah. Nobody will say this in the mainstream media because it justifies what President Trump did. Nobody in the mainstream media will tell you after Midnight Hammer, when we blew up all the enrichment facilities, they went back at it again, thus epic fury. What Wyckoff said on your show changes everything.
Yeah, so bombing children is not the same as bombing nuclear facilities. I think we could all agree, right? Can we all just agree on that? Is there some common ground here? Can we all agree? I don't know. Could you agree that bombing a school full of children is just fundamentally different than bombing a nuclear facility? And even if I don't believe they even really did anything to that nuclear facility, or I don't even believe that it was a nuclear facility at this point because I don't believe anything they say. But let's just take it at face value. Steelman this whole thing. Nuclear facilities are different than schools full of children. It's a lot easier to justify bombing a nuclear facility, right? Even though who has the right to tell who gets the military prowess, who gets the right to tell other countries who can have nuclear weapons? I mean, should it be the only country that has used nuclear weapons? Is that the country that should tell everyone else whether or not they can have nuclear weapons? I mean, that's a good question. But hey, Americans, they'll get behind bombing if you give them a good enough reason. And bombing nuclear facilities is a decent reason. But this new thing, Operation Epic Failure, you're bombing schools full of kids. You're bombing ancient treasures and shit. Buildings that have been there for 1,000 years. You're bombing them. UNESCO World Heritage Sites and shit. You're destroying places that the world treasures. You're killing thousands of people. It's a different ball of wax, a whole different kettle of fish, as they might say.
To my friends at the White House, every American should know the facts. You can have your opinion about President Trump all you want. If he had not acted...
No, that's not true. That's not true. You cannot have your opinion about Donald Trump all you want. They are literally arresting people who have literature criticizing the president. I'm surprised I haven't been black bagged yet, man. I hope you don't subscribe, because if you do subscribe, they might come and get me, baby. If I had 1 million subscribers, I'd probably be dead by now.
Within 2 weeks, they would have had enough weapons material to make 10 bombs. Donald Trump acted decisively. God bless the fact that he did. If he had failed to act, we'd all be living with the Ayatollah still alive, enough weapon-grade material to make 10 bombs. That's what's at stake here.
And the Ayatollah's son is now in power. Now, see, the Ayatollah Khamenei is dead. Long live Ayatollah Khamenei. It's the guy's son. He's even a bigger hardliner. He is harder and stiffer. Oh, damn it. I know why you like him, Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump like their Ayatollahs hard and stiff. I get it now. But listen, he's harder and stiffer than his father was. And so what was the goal here? We got a guy that was, by your definition, worse than the last guy. Huh.
Liberals literally do want Trump to fail.
Literally.
They fear him more than they fear the Ayatollah with a nuclear weapon. This is a sick time in which we live. We have to push through this. Mr. President, finish the job. We're very, very close. And if we do this right, peace breaks out. Saudi Arabia will recognize Israel when Iran is defanged. Our goal is to take this terrorist regime and defang it so we can have real peace in the Mideast. We're so close to that moment. President Trump...
Yeah, don't worry. It's breaking out. We're going to have a peace breakout. We're breaking out with peace. Like that rash in his groin that he got at the last time he went to the Turkish bathhouse. Poor Lindsey Graham. Poor Lindsey Graham. Just come out of the closet already so people can stop making jokes and people can stop blackmailing you. Just come out of the closet, Lindsey. It's embarrassing at this point. Nobody cares, Lindsey. The liberals don't care. The Republicans don't care at this point. Scott Bessent's gay. Peter Thiel is gay. Marco Rubio's gay. Okay, Marco Rubio's still in the closet, but he used to dance on stage with other gays, so he used to be out of the closet. Marco Rubio's kind of like in and out of the closet. Marco Rubio kind of like he's got 1 foot in the closet, 1 foot out of the closet. But, you know, there's plenty of Republicans now who are out of the closet. Like, this isn't 1995 anymore. You're allowed to be gay now in It's a new Republican Party, guys. Big tent thinking. Big tent. They love the gays now. Normally, you have to have $1 billion to be a loved gay, but you are a senator. I think a gay senator for a Republican, I think they might like you. They might think you're cool.
God bless you and your team.
God bless you, Donald Trump.
Many travelers are suffering at the airport today as security wait times stretch longer than usual, in part due to a lack of staffing. TSA workers are calling out. They are under pressure from...
This is a story I've been following for a long time. You see, every fascist or authoritarian, totalitarian government, these guys always limit your travel. That is something they do very early on as the regime gets deeper and deeper and stronger. They start limiting the travel of the most vulnerable in society. So already with the Real ID, that was already in the works, but this is something that they're hammering down now. Now, if you don't have a Real ID, you can still travel if you pay them at the airport. So you have to pay an extra tax, $45. If you want to fly without a Real ID. And TSA PreCheck is gone. They got rid of that. They dismantled TSA for all intents and purposes because they're not paying them. They broke up the unions almost on day one. And this is all outlined in Project 2025. The TSA is like the canary in the coal mine. They want to dismantle any government services that you and I pay for. They're not going to lower your taxes. They're going to say there's it'll be cheaper and more efficient if they just have private companies. Oh, their oligarch friends can do airport security. That you don't need the TSA. You don't need a government agency serving the people, keeping you safe. What we need is a private corporation doing that, and they can do it for profit. Because we know when you do it for profit, they're more efficient, right? It's not true, of course. The goal of an agency to protect people, they don't technically care how profitable they are, how efficient they are, because the goal is to protect people in the skies. And we have, not had another 9/11 since the birth of the TSA. I don't like the TSA. I think it's an encroachment on my Fourth Amendment rights. But you might like the fact that we haven't had another 9/11. Maybe. The TSA was put into power was created by George W. Bush in the wake of 9/11. And now they're dismantling it. And they're doing it intentionally according to Project 2025. If you're just tuning in, my name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. I hate the Republicans. I hate the Democrats, and they both hate me. I think the uniparty is disgusting. I think thinking for yourself, autonomy, self-reliance, and maturity are the way forward. Thank you so much for joining me. It looks like I have somebody here. We'll get back to the TSA thing right now. Who is this? Oh, it's Hate Speaker Sargon of Akkad. Thank you so much for being here. You got a 75 IQ. It doesn't matter that the oligarchs has alternative goals while infiltrating the government via Doge. These impressive young men were there. These impressive young men were true believers, and you want to mock them for getting used. How about no? I'm mocking you for being used. No, I'm mocking you for being used because you believe that Doge, that you believe in the cause. The cause was bullshit. The cause was a lie. That's what's being revealed here. The cause was not planned. They did not give these boys any direction that was meaningful. These boys did not have an understanding, which is what they claimed. They said that these boys were super geniuses that had an understanding of what their job was, but the job was bullshit. Doge was bullshit. The whole thing was a facade. It was just an illusion so that David Copperfield could go to Epstein Island and rape children. That's what it was. It was just a distraction so that they could be doing their real job, which was taking the data of American citizens. And now that we see that and it's coming to light, you're defending not only the cause, but the people who were taken in by these monsters and used. The people who were being used, I'm not mocking them. I'm mocking the fact that we all knew that this was the case, and MAGA defended these boys, defended the cause of Doge, and it was all lies. And I knew it was a lie. It's like a big I told you so. So you could call me low IQ all you want, but I saw that Doge was bullshit from day one. From day one. I knew it was a lie. From day one, I knew that it was trying to feed more AI models, more data, because the untapped data because the government produces a lot of data, and it was a gold mine for someone like Elon Musk to go in there and take it. And there was only one way to get it. Make him a temporary government employee, the richest man in the world. Temporary government employee. What a guy. What a guy. They didn't even try to accomplish the goals that they claim to set out to accomplish. They didn't even try. And they put these boys up, and now you're calling them brilliant boys, and you want to defend them. They were just cogs. And you're defending not only them, but also the cause of Doge. Give me a break. You're no better than those kids. You're just another tool for them.
Working without pay because of the month-long partial government shutdown. The transportation secretary says 300 TSA agents have actually quit. Union officials add that members just missed their second paycheck in the second government shutdown that they've had to endure in less than 6 months.
To be quite frank, officers are pissed off. And we're not just talking about here in Atlanta, we're talking about nationwide. The officers are pissed off. They want this to end. They're ready to get back to some normalcy or some consistency within their lives. It's very different this time because of the close proximity to the previous shutdown, the 34-day shutdown. So the resources and things that were available, they're just not there anymore.
Let's go now to CNN's Ryan Young, who is at Atlanta International Airport. And Ryan, we understand that things have improved a little since we last spoke to you a couple hours ago?
Well, yeah, there's a rush hour at airports too, lady. Stupid CNN. Anyway, get ready to not be able to cross state lines. Get ready to not be able to cross into other countries, not be able to leave your country without an exit visa. Get ready. And I know that MAGA, they're going to be like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what's the problem with getting permission from your government to leave? America will have exit visas soon. America will have to show ID between state borders on our interstate highway system. Well, it's the interstate highway system. You should have to show ID to travel between states. What do you mean? Of course you do. Of course you have to show ID to get on an airplane. And it has to be a special ID. It has to be a special ID. Real ID. Yeah, real ID. You need a real ID in order to do that. I mean, it's unbelievable that everyone has zero history knowledge, has no idea of what's happening here. You know, when I traveled the world, I've been all over the world. I've lived all over the world. And when I did, I felt so grateful and so appreciative that the Cold War was over, because I started traveling in 1990s, and I've lived all over, man. And I remember going to the Berlin Wall and being like, man, the world used to be so divided. They literally wouldn't let Eastern Germans visit their families on the other side of the border wall for just stupid reasons, just political bullshit. And you had to have a special ID and special permission from the government just to visit family members on the other side of this idiotic city wall. And I thought, man, I'm so glad I don't live in that world anymore. My parents, when I was in the Soviet blocs, the former Soviet bloc states, I was like, my parents could never go and visit these places. They could never even try. If they could, they didn't have much money, but if they did, they still couldn't come. But I can just walk across the border into Poland. I could just walk across the border into Czech Republic. I take a train, a plane, a bicycle, doesn't matter. Hey, Speaker Sergeant McCod, I'm going to eat some chicken wings today, all left wings, no rights, just to make sure I'm eating an individual each, just because you're being stupid. I'm being stupid. I'm being stupid. You're the one defending Doge. Doge, like the little dog. Like, you remember when they started Doge and they made a website showing you that they were trolling you with a little dog on the coin? Remember that? Remember that? You're still falling for it. You're still falling for Doge. And I'm the one who's stupid?
Jessica, I appreciate the fact you weren't sitting there nodding in agreement with everything you said. I appreciate that very much.
You didn't see the whole
I'll let you go first. What is your reaction to James Valerie?
Oh, we got discount Jesse Waters, but at least we got Jessica back.
I thought it was great. I mean, it was a whole 45-minute interview. That's obviously just a small piece of it, but a piece that I cared about a lot as somebody that is going to have to talk to you guys about this throughout the election season. And I think the overarching point about what is about to go on from now until November is really what people are concerned about and what voters are paying attention to. And he had a line that he used the other night, if they care about pronouns or they care about prices. And he explained some of them, like people...
If you're not familiar with her, this is Jessica, I forget her last name, Taurus or Talaris, I forget her last name. God, I forget her. I usually know it. But this is Jessica over on Fox News, and she is like the only kind of liberal-ish person. She's a liberal. And, I mean, she's just another liberal Democrat. But I think she's usually got some kind of... I like watching her because this is the only Democrat or liberal that the Fox News crowd ever gets.
Been using a clip that's been cut and they don't let him finish in it, where he
Tarloff,
says,
thank
I
you.
think that immigration should be run like a front porch. There's a welcome mat, but also a lock on your door. So you can be pro-immigrant and also pro-security. You know, he said, I wouldn't have phrased some of these things in the same way, but I think that you're going to have a very hard time making the case that this guy is just a wackadoodle when you look at his policies. He's not a straight Medicare for all guy. Again, he's talking about immigration, that we need tough border security. And I would also add that as this is going on, so people are trying to frame him in this light, the primary on the Republican side.
Ooh, government already has all your personal information, numbnuts. Sort of. I mean, it depends on what you mean by the government. Government. There are individual departments in the government that do not share information with other departments in the government. Things like the IRS are not supposed to be sharing all of your information. There's a degree of anonymity or privacy that is just inherent to certain departments like Social Security, like the IRS. And you might say it's bullshit, and maybe it is. I think likely it is, because they can just subpoena a lot of that stuff. But to just have somebody who's like Elon Musk to come in and just start digging around in each department looking for waste, fraud, and abuse in order to make these massive lists of individuals and where they live, whether or not they got autism, what their problems are, mental health issues, to start making lists of people who are disabled or whatever, which is something they actually literally talked about doing. They wanted to make a list of people. That is something that America has traditionally been against. And we have created barriers to make that kind of difficult to accomplish. But Doge, under this bullshit guise of waste, fraud, and abuse, they tore down those walls and they were able to simply amass a tremendous amount of data that's actually quite difficult to parse. But that's what AI is very good at. They want to give as much information to AI in order, because that's one thing that's some of these large language models are running into is kind of the absence of more pools of data to make it the smartest AI, because they're in a race. They're in a race to make the best, quote unquote, AI, or the strongest or the most clever AI, whatever you want to say, whatever adjective you want to use. The only way to do that is to feed it more data, to feed your AI more data. So in the case of Elon Musk, he can feed Grok more and more data. Ain't that something? What else could he be using that for? Palantir, for example, has a very important motive to get more data on American citizens. How much of the data do you want shared with these companies, these people? This is what we're doing. This is the goal now.
You have John Cornyn out today with an ad about Ken Paxton and his love shack. So it's Ken Paxton driving in a convertible with all of his various mistresses toward.
Ooh, Jacker thinks he's smart. You know, I went to a fancy university, but mostly what I learned was how to connect ideas and ask the right questions. I don't think I'm smarter than anybody else at all. Maybe some people, maybe you, I don't know. But I don't think I'm smart. I think that I'm pretty good at asking questions. I think I've got a pretty good critical thinking cap on, and I think I can connect ideas because that's what I studied in school. I studied things like translation theory and literary theory and those types of things. I went to a fancy university and learned how to do that stuff and more. But that's all. That doesn't make me smarter. Not at all. It makes me that I'm studied. Maybe I'm a little more skilled, but smarter. It depends on how you define intelligence. Some people think that smart people are just people who remember things well. People who have photographic memories seem really, really smart. But if you can't connect the ideas that your photographic memory has taken, if you can't connect those ideas, I don't know what use it is, right? What is intelligence? Oh man, we're getting into some deep concepts today for the morning show. Normally, we save this for the Sunday show, but thank you. What is intelligence? Good question.
the place that he's going to bed them, and then the fact that John Cornyn represents the old guard. And this was one of the main points that Tallarico was making. So Texas has been living under one-party rule for decades, and
Yeah. I can't agree with that. Wisdom is what you need, not education. Yeah, that's why I've tried to have lots of experiences. I've lived in 3 states. I've lived in, I think, 4 countries. Lived in 5 countries, I think. I've lived all over the world. I've done all sorts of crazy things. I've fallen in love. I've lost. I'm old. I think I got a little wisdom. Maybe not as wise as some people. But again, I'm not trying to sell my wisdom. I'm just trying to sell my service to build a community of critical-based thinking and dignity-based resistance. If you're into that, dignity-based resistance rather than domination culture, if you don't think dominator culture is the way to go and you think dignity-based resistance is the way to go, please join the channel. Channel members, my Sky City Rebels, get tons of exclusive content, lots of extra streams, tons of cool polls and things like that. I try to take care of the Sky City Rebels a lot. Can I get a Sky City Rebel yell in the chat if you're a Sky City Rebel, please? Please put a Sky City Rebel yell in the chat.
has not gotten them anything good. They have higher poverty rates than the national average, higher uninsured rates. The average wage in Texas is lower than the national average as well. And John Cornyn is the summation of that problem. He was also elected when Tallarico was in middle school. So if this is a change election, which they have been for the last several years, then I think that just focusing on something he wrote in 2020 is not going to help the Republicans much.
Greg, James Tallarico, maybe his best chance is what she just pointed out, the unpopularity of whoever's running on the GOP side. But, you know, a friend told me one time.
God, man, I can't. I mean, I hate Jesse Waters, but listen to this slack-jawed Southern. Now, what do you think now? James Tallarico. Jesus, I thought listening to Jesse Waters in the morning was bad. This dude, who the hell is this Timu Jesse Waters guy?
About Rick Perry said, listen, you don't have to be great.
Please, I never thought I want Jesse Waters back.
Be the governor of Texas. You just got to get out of the way.
Well, I love that this guy Tallarico, he's trying to make, he's going through a makeover.
You know what's funny? Greg Gutfeld went to the same university as me. I went to the same university. He graduated 10 years before me, but I went to the same university as this guy. Can you believe it?
It's really easy to undergo a makeover because the media will do it for you. The Republicans, you have to do it yourself. In fact, it's impossible to get a makeover as a Republican. You always got to make under. They make you look worse. But Tallarico, you know, he says he's tired of the division. This is a guy who split the sexes into 6 boxes, right? This is a guy who's against division, and he created a...
I like that he said that you can't make over the Republican Party. I mean, I feel like everyone in the Republican Party has one of those Mar-a-Lago faces at this point, even like J.D. Vance with the mascara and the eyeliner. And then you got like all those horrible, this crazy like Jigsaw faces, man. Like they all look like that Jigsaw character in the Saw movies. Like doesn't Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi and Laura Loomer, why do they all have that horrible like just filler and Botox? It's you mostly see it with the women, but the men too. I mean, look at Donald Trump. He cakes on 1.5 inches of makeup, just slathers it on every morning. He puts it on with a knife in the morning. It's disgusting. The dude, can you imagine what his razor blades must look like when he shaves his face? Or maybe he probably doesn't grow any hair because of all the hormone treatments. Donald Trump probably doesn't grow any hair on his face. I've never even seen him with like a 5 o'clock shadow, huh? You never even see it. He's always just oily and unctuous and just covered in thick foundation. Like you could just scrape it off with your hands. They say that when he stayed in England, the workers who had to clean up after him, they had all sorts of fast food containers because he wouldn't want to eat the English food that the king wanted to give him, so he ordered McDonald's to have delivered to his house, to his little Buckingham Palace suite, I think it was. I forget which palace it was. But then when they went to clean the sheets, it was just covered in makeup. Jesus, it's like when the clowns come to town. It's like cleaning up after the circus clowns. By golly, how do you guys even look at Donald Trump and say that's not a makeover queen? This guy's got so much gender-affirming care. He's like, I don't know. It's weird that they don't like the trans. It's weird they don't like the trans. This guy, so much gender-affirming care, Donald Trump.
Base for trans who want abortions. I mean, how much more specific a space can you get? How many trans who want abortions are there? And I'm including the ones that are currently in prison. Seems to me for him that may be more like an aim than a right. See, the problem with Tallarico, and I'm surprised that Jessica, you don't see this, and maybe you do, but you don't want to, he's on your side.
Yeah, how many, well, why don't you answer the question? How many trans people want abortions? Let's do a quick Google search. How many trans people in America want abortions currently? Google says there's no exact real-time count of how many transgendered people in America currently want abortions. Data indicates that up to 16% of U.S. abortion patients identify as LGBTQ+, though. 16%. It's not even a blip, including individuals who do not identify as women. Studies suggest that 23% to 30% of transgendered individuals could be impacted by abortion bans, with transgendered men and non-binary people facing higher risks of needing such services. Oh, okay. 2017 says that 462 from PubMedCentral.gov, transgender, non-binary people, 462 obtained abortions in 2017. So, okay, now that we know, we're armed with information. Thank you, Gutfeld. Gutfeld said, ask the question, how many trans people get abortions? In 2017, it was about 450. Intelligence is a set of tools. Being smart is knowing a lot. You can know a lot and be smart, but be intelligent. Education teaches how to think. That's what I think. I think education, well, there's two forms of education. Some education teaches you how to theorize, teaches you about the theory, and some teaches you about practice. And that's something that in California we take really seriously, because we have the UC system and we have the Cal State system. And the Cal State system is all about learning skills to enter the workforce. They teach you how to do stuff. And on the UC system, they teach you how to think about stuff and how to connect those ideas and eventually how to synthesize ideas. That's the plan anyway, with the theory versus practice. Eventually you become a producer of knowledge instead of just a consumer of knowledge. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that so much fun? I love this stuff. But you're absolutely right. Intelligence is kind of in the eye of the beholder, if you think about it. A fish thinks that a human being is stupid because we can't swim, and we think a fish is stupid because the fish can't climb a ladder. So, you know, it's all just perspective if you think about it. Sometimes the smartest guy in the room is just the guy that knows how to get out of the room. That's just the guy that knows a little trick to get to Jimmy the lock. That's the smartest guy in the room. Depends on when your skills are applicable, I suppose. Anyway, thanks. That's a big topic that we keep circling back to in the morning. Normally, if you like that type of thing, those headier topics, big kind of pie in the sky stuff, watch the show on Sunday. It's called The Ethical Underground. We get into those deeper conversations. The morning show, this is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator and free speech and critical thinking advocate. I am against the Uniparty. I don't like the Republicans or the Democrats, and they don't like me. Thank you so much. If you're into autonomy and thinking for yourself, self-reliance, then please hit that subscribe button. If you hate all those things and you just like following what the bosses tell you, don't hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, though, because it'll keep the conversation going in the chat. We've got about 15 minutes more, so if you hit the like button, you might get a couple of cool people in the chat. Maybe you'll make a new friend. Maybe even if you hate me, you'll make a new friend in the chat if you hit the like button. Thanks so much for joining. This is The Morning Sky.
I can't read your mind. But his biggest division isn't in gender or politics. It's belief. You know, if you don't believe as he does, you are evil. You know, Christians and Jews, they divide by behavior. You can be a bad Christian. You could be a bad Jew. But that doesn't happen with someone like Tallarico.
This guy always reads his notes. Like, his delivery is so interesting, and he sucks at it. I love Greg Gutfeld when he's like off the cuff insulting people. I like that shit. But when he's just he should be an insult comic, you know?
It doesn't matter if you're a good, decent person. If you believe in two sexes, you are evil. You know, think about all those Trump supporters that were demonized, who you knew were good people, grandfathers, parents, just nice people who would help you fix a tire. Didn't matter what their behavior was like. It was that their belief was evil. This is what happens with progressives. This guy speaks a good game, but if he does not believe, he does not like your belief, it doesn't matter how good you are.
Oh my God, this is like projection, man. If you don't like the belief, already Donald Trump's running this whole party on vibes. If you don't believe in Donald Trump as the one and true God and Savior, then you aren't one of them. That's how bad it is. He calls you a rhino, but there's no bigger rhino than Donald Trump. Republican in name only is Donald Trump. The man has no resemblance to the traditional Republicans. He has no resemblance or adherence to any of the platform bullet points of the goddamn Republican Party. The man is a rhino. The MAGers and the MAGA movement are the cancer that ate the Republicans, and there are almost no Republicans left. The only ones we got left are the ones that are the libertarians, because at least the libertarians believe in personal freedoms and liberties. I mean, a lot of what I say, that's why I sound like a conservative a lot of the time, because I believe in personal liberties and freedoms. And sometimes libertarians, they talk to me, they speak to me sometimes. But I did not foresee Rand Paul being the voice of reason in the Republican Party. I did not see that coming. That was not on my bingo card. But here we are. Libertarians are the only true Republicans left. What the hell? This is a topsy-turvy world we're living in. I'm so sorry if this is your first election. My God, this is not business as usual. This is not normal. We're fighting fascism, folks. We're fighting authoritarianism. We're resisting totalitarianism. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We've done it before.
Most importantly, with the people of our country want voter ID. The people of our country want proof of citizenship. And that includes
This guy is like, I'm sorry. He's so a low IQ, he can't even speak.
88%, 89% of Democrats. And I think the Republicans.
Once again, if you like voter ID, I disagree with you, but that has nothing to do, or very little to do, with the SAVE Act. If you read the SAVE Act, it's about disenfranchising voters this November. That's what the SAVE Act is for. That is all it's for, is disenfranchising groups, blocks of voters who vote traditionally against the Republican Party. That's what the SAVE Act is for. It's an anti-democratic, despotic piece of legislature that will fundamentally break the American way of life down to nothing. That's what the SAVE Act is. If you want voter ID, again, the only way to avoid it becoming a poll tax is to create it in a way that is free for everybody, that you just go door to door and you start handing out voter IDs. That's the only way to do it. Go door to door, take a person's picture, hand them an ID. That's the only way to go. Otherwise, you're creating a poll tax and you're creating barriers between people and their rights as American citizens. I don't think it's right that we got to jump through all these hoops to get our guns in this country. It's in the Constitution that I got a right to bear arms. Then why the hell can't I get my arms, man? Okay, you want to say that certain arms you can't have because that's reserved for the military and we're not going to use those guns inside of our borders, and neither can you. That seems like an interesting compromise. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about that. But in the meantime, why are you putting barriers between me and my guns? Well, now you're going to put a barrier between me and my ability to travel. Now you're going to put another barrier between me and my ability to vote. What the hell is going on? This is what we're doing now. This is the goal now. What are we doing? As Tucker Carlson likes to say. What are we doing? We're just crumbling the foundation. This is just anti-enlightenment thinking. If you're for voter ID, again, then you got to figure out how to do it correctly. But you're not even trying. They're not trying because that's not the goal. This is very similar to Doge. It's a smokescreen in order to do something else. It's just a distraction. And what they're trying to do is fix the 2026 midterm elections. They're trying to disenfranchise voters. And of course, they just snuck in this thing about trans people, like the trans people could even sway a vote either way, just to piss everybody off. Oh, they're trying to get trans people to vote. That's why they're doing, just to have another talking point, to bring trans into this, because they are the chosen scapegoat of the MAGers. MAGers love to pick on the politically vulnerable, and there's nobody more politically vulnerable than a trans person in America. Maybe a person who is undocumented, but even they have more rights than a trans person in America. Women who have voted and gotten divorced, oh, they hate those bitches. Those ladies, they won't be able to vote at all. Because if you're a woman who's been married and divorced and you still have the name of your ex-husband, you won't be able to vote unless you bring your birth certificate, your marriage certificate, and your divorce certificate. And you got to get all that information together by November or you're SOL, and you will be disenfranchised. You will not have the right to vote in this country. It's impossible to get it done by November. They know this because they fired all of the people working at the post office. They fired all the people working at the passport offices, all the bureaucrats. They fired all those people. They can't actually get the job done to create a voter ID. It literally can't be done. Not this year anyway. So you care about voter ID, great. We can disagree. If you are for the SAVE Act, you are a monster. You're anti-American. You should move to Saudi Arabia where they have kings. You can move to El Salvador where they have dictators. You can move to any of those places. Any of those places. Look at this moron. Save America won't hurt anyone. Save America will hurt about 50% of us. About 50%. 50% of the voting population. Because only 50% of us have passports. And we can assume that those 50% of Americans who have passports might vote, but a lot of those people who have passports are children. They aren't even voting age. 50% of Americans have no passport. About 25% of Americans have no readily available proof of citizenship. American citizens. Because we've never been the country, the show me your papers country. And now we want to become the show me your papers country. We want to be Germany 1936. Well, that took some effort. Even the Nazis, they couldn't do it overnight. They got to get everyone IDs. They got to make it all happen. They got to line people up. They got to do the whole thing. They got to put people on lists, show people. They had to like do the bureaucratic dirty work in order to have a bureaucratic state like the Nazis had. Even they had to do it, but we're not even going to do it. Just like everything, just like the war in Iran. We're so ill prepared and low IQ that we're not actually going to do it the right way. Anyway. Divorced women keep their husband. Oh, damn, I missed it. Sorry. I can't. It's a lot easier to see you when you. I can kind of see what you guys are saying, but when you are green, I can see you more easily. Like channel members, I can see you, so I can kind of like pick you out. But sorry, if you're not a channel member, I'm sorry. If you are a channel member, you get special treatment in the chat, and I do like to interact with you guys, but it's difficult because of so many chats. But anyone who's been here enough time knows that I like to pull out the chat and talk with you guys. But yeah. Anyway, Skyjack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate, and this is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube, The Morning Sky. We will be doing the debate show, the call-in show. If you do have something you want to talk about, which it looks like a lot of you guys do, come to the night show. It's 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can come, the afternoon show, I should call it, I guess. Please come on the show and chat with me. Bring your own BYOB. Bring your own, what was I saying before? Bring your own battle. It's called Pick Your Battles. Bring your own battles. BYOB. Bring your own battles. Pick your battles. I'll have 5 menu items that we can talk about, but if you have something burning a hole in your soul, you can call into the show and we can talk about it then. You don't have to show your face, but we do have to be able to hear your voice. Thank you for being here.
Eric Schmidt, Rick Scott, Tim Scott. I speak to so many of them. They all want it. I hope John can get it across the line. He's trying.
They let you do it when you're a star.
And he told me this morning, I spoke to him, he's trying. I think it'll be a very, very bad thing for our country if they don't. We're just asking for basic things. Think of it. You can't have voter ID. Do you know in California, if you ask a person to show their identification, they have the right to put you in jail if you're an official.
That's a lie. That's a total lie. 100% a lie. I have voted most of my life in California. Most of the times I've voted have been in California, and that's a bald-faced lie. Just a plain old lie.
And you say, "Man, please see your identification." You're subject to going to jail. That's how crazy it's gotten.
That's not true at all. If you don't have ID, they put you in the provisional voting. That's it. They can't force you to provide ID. That would be a jailing offense, I suppose, if they called the cops somehow. What? Who the hell are these? Do you think there's just cops ready to put people in jail? What the fuck is this guy talking about? This clown, this goddamn clown. If you don't have ID at the voting booth, they put your ballot. They put your ballot in a pile called the provisional ballot pile. And then at the end of the election, they figure out which ones of those were worth counting, which ones are lies, which ones were bullshit, which ones were just at the wrong polling location, which ones are doubles because someone voted twice, and then they throw out the ones that weren't right. That's it. That's provisional voting ballot. That's exactly what it is. Provisional. That's what it is.
The low IQ person, because Gavin Newsom has admitted that he has learning disabilities. Honestly, I'm all for people with learning.
As if the governor chooses these things willy-nilly. Yeah, the governor chooses these things.
Disabilities, but not for my president. I think a president should not have learning disabilities. Okay.
I think they should have learning disabilities. Donald Trump thinks that the Declaration of Independence was the product of the Civil War. He thinks Frederick Douglass is still alive. He's doing great things. I keep hearing about this Frederick Douglass guy. He's doing great work. He's doing great work with the blacks. I'm the least racist person in the world, and I know that Frederick Douglass, he's a great guy. He's got he's all man. We were in the shower watching Frederick Douglass's Big Schlong. Me and Arnold Palmer, he was all man. He was such a great guy, wasn't he, folks? He's like, yeah. We love Big Schlong. Frederick Douglass, great guy. This is a guy who thinks that Frederick Douglass is alive and the Declaration of Independence was a product of the Civil War. He says this shit on camera and you let it slide. And then when he says some other people have low IQ and that they have learning disabilities and shouldn't be president, by the way, I don't think Gavin Newsom should be president of the United States. I am not a Gavin Newsom supporter. You won't see me campaigning for Gavin fucking Newsom. But saying that he's the one with the learning disability is rich. He's the one with the learning disability, but wait. I love it when Donald Trump, this is my favorite Trump quote of the month. This is my favorite Trump quote of the month is when he says that Gavin Newsom just got a promotion. Let's listen in.
And I know it's highly controversial to say such a horrible thing. The president of the United States, Gavin Newsom, admitted that he has learning disabilities, dyslexia, everything about him is dumb.
Everything about him is dumb, but what's interesting is that he's also president of the United States. How did we get President Gavin Newsom, everybody? Or as Donald Trump, because he's a 4-year-old, calls him Gavin Newscum, because he hasn't grown up yet, because he has a learning disability. It's called arrested development. That's what good old Donnie Trump has. But he's president of the United States, everybody. Donald Trump just gave Gavin Newsom a promotion. Way to go. Brilliant.
But then he looked at the audience and said, well, I'm smarter than you, or something like that. That was pretty stupid. So now on top of everything else, I call him a racist because it happened to be a black audience. I will tell you this.
Oh.
I think it was the worst thing.
On top of everything else, you also call him a racist? He's the racist? Is he the one? Wait. Which politician took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 black young men, even though they didn't commit the crime? Later exonerated. I think they call them the exonerated 5. Look it up. Donald Trump is being sued by the exonerated 5 because he continuously, even though their innocence has been proven, he continuously says he thinks that they did it, that they're guilty and deserve to be executed. The president of the United States doubles down because they're black. Can you imagine doing it for 5 white guys? Can you imagine Donald Trump calling for the execution of 5 white men who were exonerated about a murder in Central Park? They used to call them the Central Park 5, if you're not familiar. We now call them the exonerated 5 because they were innocent. But Donald Trump called for their execution, paid his own money with a full-page ad in the New York Times, which was not cheap back in the day. That was a very expensive ad to run. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump. Yeah, kill them all. Kill them all. You're all low IQ. You're low IQ. That's the problem. You're just low IQ. But Gavin Newsom is the racist. Okay. Thanks, Grandpa.
I've ever seen of any human being in my life, okay? We're down lower than we've been in 7 years in gasoline prices and oil prices, not just the 3 states that I talk about with $1.99 a gallon. How would you like to have $1.99? You know, that's...
Oh, yeah, $1.99! How would you like all that? $1.99. We're going to bomb India. We're going to bomb Israel. We're going to bomb Iran. We're going to bomb Venezuela. We're going to bomb Cuba. We're going to bomb everybody. We're going to bomb Russia. We're going to... Like, Donald Trump literally just lifted the oil embargo off of Russia so we can lower the price of gas because his stupid war in Iran. Derp, 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 derp.
That's the equivalent of a very major tax cut.
Welcome back. Now, that was President Trump in Pennsylvania back in December.
Oh, I love this. You race card throwing piece of trash. I know, right? Donald Trump is a race card throwing piece of trash. I totally agree with you, John Bain. He was the one who brought up race in the last segment. Can you believe it? Out of nowhere, really. He said that President Gavin Newsom has a low IQ and a learning disability, and he's so stupid. And by the way, he's also racist. Donald Trump is a race card throwing piece of trash. You're absolutely right. He took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black men who were not guilty of any crime. Race card throwing piece of trash. I totally agree with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Low energy and gas prices. Today, the average price for a gallon of gas in Pennsylvania is $3.76, according to AAA. That's higher than last week, and it's up more than 60 cents from a month ago. NBC News senior national politics reporter John Allen has been speaking with Pennsylvania voters. He's been out kind of on a road trip here in Millersburg, about 25 miles north of Harrisburg. He joins me now. And John, I understand you're sort of in a Trump supportive part of Pennsylvania, and there are a lot of those in Pennsylvania. What are you hearing about how people there are feeling about gas prices?
Oh, anybody can be a bigot. That's true. Anybody can be a bigot. Man, I find racist vegans perplexing. I'm like, wait a second, you're a vegan wait, hold on a second. You think animals are equal to people, but you're a racist? Look, man, people got crazy ideas in their brains. You're absolutely right. But generally, as a rule of thumb, the bigots are usually part of the right-wing ideology, usually. Of course, there's people over on the left that are creepily got weird. Of course, man. Of course. But overwhelmingly, the bigots are over on the Nazi side of the party, of the Uniparty. It's like America's really only got 2 business parties. You really just have a business party. It's just the Uniparty, and within that party, there's a spectrum, and there's like full-blown Nazi, and there's like Israel supporting, union supporter. I support Israel, but I also love unions, and then you have. On the other far right, you have Nazis, but that's as far left as you go. The liberals are actually far more dangerous in America than the Nazis because usually Nazis expose themselves, just like the counter-terrorism guy quitting. Like, he just can't stomach anymore. He can't do it anymore. People start vomiting into their own mouths because they just can't be a Nazi for long. It's hard to stay Nazi, right? So eventually they start backing away from the Nazi chief. They're not as scary, really. They're scary because sometimes they do bad things that go too far, but generally, the worst is actually the liberals. The liberals say, this is as far left as you go. Capitalism's the only way. The liberals are actually more dangerous. Martin Luther King Jr. said this a lot. He said, the KKK, the Klan, is less of the enemy than the white liberal, because the white liberal says all the time, oh, yeah, they shouldn't be hanging black people in the South, but I don't want any black people living next door to me. The liberal says, yeah, of course, that's really bad. It's easy to point at the lynchings and say, yeah, racism is bad. But if you put black people in jail and use them as slaves, that's perfectly acceptable. That's the liberal point of view. this is as far as you go. That's why when they say the liberal media, yeah, there is kind of this left-leaning of media, because liberal media, they usually, traditionally at least, liberal media exists because media exists to complain. Media exists to show you the bad stuff. It's usually not there to show you, yeah, rah, 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 the government's great. So there's a liberal or leftist leaning of the media just by nature of what they do. But they're also the bastion of capitalism and the status quo. They're the ones that say, not so far. Some topics are out of bounds. You can't start talking about killing the rich and redistributing the wealth. We can't talk about that on the media. You see, that's why liberals are actually more dangerous to the people than ultra-conservatives. But, you know, whatever. This is the last thing we're going to watch today. This is it. If you're just tuning in, my name is Sky Jack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. I hate Republicans and Democrats, and they both hate me. Thank you so much for watching, and this will be the last story of the day. Here we go. Last one.
And are they factoring that in and how they view the war in Iran?
Well, first, Kelly, I would be remiss if I did not wish Kelly O'Donnell a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Right back at you.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Happy Patrick's Day. We're Irish. Yeah, I get it. We're all Irish. We're all Irish. Great, great. No one cares that we're Irish. I'm Irish, too. Who cares?
And, I can't see you right now, but I'm sure you would.
Yeah, ha, ha, ha. We're all Irish. Luck of the Irish. Gold, pot of gold. Ah, look at me. Ha, ha, ha. Top of the morning to you.
We agree. Okay, so I'm in Millersburg, Pennsylvania. The reason I'm here is it's a swing.
Ooh, you're wrong, Sky. Show me why I'm wrong. Come on the show tonight at 1 p.m. You could tell me why I'm wrong. Come on the show. Call in. You can tell me. You can debate me live. Go ahead.
District, Pennsylvania's 10th district in a swing state. President Trump won this district by about 5 points, but the local congressman, Scott Perry, is in danger of losing the midterms. And we wanted to talk to people about their feelings about gas prices, about the war. You mentioned Pennsylvania's average gas price, about $3.76 a gallon right now. We went to like the cheapest place around, $3.54.9 a gallon here, and talk to folks. Better you hear from them than from me about how they're feeling.
Let's roll the tape.
Let's do it.
Decision to strike Iran.
It was a great decision. I think somebody else should have done it a couple of years ago, the last 3 other presidents.
Are you willing to pay higher prices at the pump if that's the cost?
Yeah, I'm willing to pay a little more, yeah.
What do you think about the war?
I think he's doing the right thing. You know, in the long run, it's going to help us out.
Long run's going to help us out. I got to trust my president. I just trust my president. I love him to death. I love that man so much. I just trust him in the long run. This is all going to work out. This is kind of like fucking someone in the ass and saying, don't worry, it'll loosen up. Don't worry, it'll loosen up. You'll feel better in a second. Don't worry. It'll be fine in a second.
You know, if they get nuclear weapons, you know, we might not even be here in a couple of years. So
Nuclear.
Is it worth the rise in the price of gas?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think about the U.S. decision to go into Iran?
I think we got to do what we got to do to keep this country safe. So, and if it means paying a little bit more in gas right now to keep everybody safe, then that's what we got to do. Anyway.
Got to do it. Got to keep everybody safe because Iran was dangerous.
They'll come back down.
And Kelly, most of the people we talked to were supportive of the war and willing to pay the higher gas prices for the war. Some of them because they believe in the goals of the war, others because they trust President Trump. But not everybody felt that way. Not everybody's excited about Trump.
I just trust him. I love him.
Here, and not everybody's planning to vote for Republicans in the midterms who supported Trump. Let's take a listen to one more woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump, he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You are a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
I love that lady. I think that's the type. I think they're all going to say that once this is all said and done. Once Donald Trump. You're a worthless pile of shit. I voted for you 3 times. Looks like I'm the goddamn idiot. Goddamn ding dang do. Out there in Pennsylvania. Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love that guy. I love that lady. She's a winner.
So not
lots of personality there, John. Lots of personality.
She got a lot of personality saying that the president's a piece of a worthless pile of shit. How come? Are we allowed to say that on the media, the liberal media?
Yes.
right? Not everyone's thrilled with him. That was a voter who voted for him 3 times. She went on to talk about the gas prices. She went on to talk about the war, about not supporting the idea of us, basically going around the world. So a lot to process there. But this is going to be the real pressure test for President Trump and Republicans in the midterms, is how many of the people who voted for him are A, sticking with Republicans, and B, going to show up in the midterms. And I think that's still an open question here, just several months out from those midterms, Kelly.
Ain't no one showing up in the midterms, baby. Donald Trump's not on the ballot. They don't give a shit. Midterms are going for the Dems. Hate to put it for you. I mean, I don't like the Dems, but it's either the Dems or the Nazis. Which one you're gonna go for? I mean, and if you're a MAGger, are you really feeling it? You feeling the vibes right now? All those dead school children are feeling the vibe. Let me know in the chat, MAGgers. Are you gonna show up and vote in November? Are you gonna show up and vote? I mean, Donald Trump's not on the ballot. Are you gonna vote? Let me know in the chat. Will you vote? Yes or no? Are you voting in the midterm election? Vote early, vote often. You know that we can all vote 10 times in America, right? Yeah. MAGA, the rights liberals. MAGA, the rights liberals. Damn, I don't even know what that means. MAGA, the rights liberals. There's a lot going on there. Arturo says, no shit. No shit, he's a pile of shit. I know he's a pile of shit. I know. I'm so effing confused. You're confused? Why not? No, why not? LMAO, no brain view. Got it. No brain view. He's a pile of shit. I don't think that's a no brain view. She doesn't like the fact that she's got to pay more for gasoline for no reason. Starts wars with people that don't have it coming. Depends on the SAVE Act. Well, shit, you might not be allowed to vote. That's true. Okay, let's rephrase it. If we are allowed to vote, will you vote in the midterms? I really wanted just to see if the MAGgers were going to vote, because like Donald Trump's not on the ballot. And MAGgers, they're lazy, they're not going to show up, I don't think. Nobody likes this shit. The vibes are off, man. Donald Trump's vibes are way off. They're waning, bro. That guy's got that big old purple mark on his hand. He's got that gross, like, necrotic flesh-eating disease on his neck. Donald Trump's got those ankles, those big cankles now. I mean, he's mentioned 1 million times in the Epstein files. Are they really going to show up for this guy anymore? I don't think so. They could just stay home. They could just stay home. If they ask for ID, I will. Oh, okay, only if they ask for ID? Great. They always ask for ID. They always ask for ID. Please, you probably never voted before. They always ask for ID. I probably won't vote ever again. I refuse to participate in the further destruction of this country until a good candidate comes forward. Yeah, but this is the midterms, man. Don't you guys have ballot initiatives in your state? Like, we got ballot initiatives to vote for, so we gotta vote. I have to vote because there's ballot initiatives. We got DIY politics over here in California, but they don't have ballot initiatives where you're at. I hope if you're living in Denver, I hope you do vote, and I hope you vote to ban foie gras. Please do that. There's going to be a ballot initiative in D.C. as well. Hope you're there. Pennsylvania is red now. 100,000 new Amish voters is a complete game changer. I guess. Are they allowed to use the machines? I didn't know that they were allowed. They're not allowed to use mirrors, but they're allowed to use the voting machine. Crazy. That's cool. Explain sanctuary states, Jack, and why they work against the federal police force. It's about states' rights, you see. They don't think that the federal government should come in and have any right to any of their information or data or have anything to do with what they got going on. That's it. They're enforcing the laws in their own state, and if the federal government wants to enforce their laws, they can do it on their own. That's not that hard. That ain't that hard. Not cooperating, it's a form of resistance. You don't have to cooperate. The states are not compelled to cooperate with the federal government. Now, they can't stop the federal government from doing what they're doing, but they don't have to do their job for them either. They want the states to do their job for them. And most states are saying, well, you can go fuck yourself, federal government. Why do we got to do your job for you? It's kind of like when Pete Wilson, famous Republican governor of California, Republican Governor Pete Wilson, he was so upset that INS and ICE weren't doing their jobs because the border was basically open during a Republican, Reagan and Bush, and they were just like, it was a little weird back then, and amnesty and all sorts of things were going on. But the border just wasn't secure. And Pete Wilson was like, hold on a second. We've got 5 million undocumented people in California, and California is supposed to give them health care, give them schools, make sure that, like, it was a lot for California to deal with back then. And so Pete Wilson sued the federal government. He's like, why do we have to police these people? Why do we have to do all this shit? And the federal government's doing fucking do your job. In the Constitution, it says it's your job to keep people, to secure the border. Why is California having to do all this? And he sued and won against the United States government. And truthfully, if the U.S. government's not doing their job, and the states are doing theirs, then why should they cooperate with the federal government? Do your job. Don't ask the taxpayers of our state to do your job for you. You're double dipping, motherfucker. There you go. Sanctuary states explained. Thank you so much. Illegitimate, not carburetum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. My name is Skyjack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech, critical thinking advocate. I hate both parties. They both hate me. I hope that you have a beautiful day today. If you're a channel member and part of the dignity-based resistance with Sky City Rebels, you will have an extra stream right now. It's called The Afterglow, and I appreciate you being here. Let's see. One more person from the chat. A channel member. Undocumented immigrants would not talk to police if they have to fear to get deported. It lowers crime rates to do it this way. Exactly. Why should the cops? It makes the cops' jobs harder if they're doing federal agent work. Federal agents, do your damn job. Why would an immigrant would never talk to a policeman if they thought the policeman was going to turn around and deport them? So if there's a crime being committed and an undocumented person sees it and calls the police, why would they call the police if they think they're going to get deported? You see? It makes it dangerous for everybody if the police are cooperating with ICE. Police and ICE don't mix. Police and ICE, they don't mix. Sorry. State police, local police do not mix with ICE. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. Keep it real and Godspeed, rebels. I'll see you in the afterglow.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so friggin' much.